I'm a real tough kid. I can handle my shit. They said fake it, gotta fake it till you make it, and I did.
I'm just a terrible person, I guess.
Lights, camera, bitch. Even when you wanna die. Breaking down, I hit the floor. All the pieces of me shattered as the crowd was chanting more. With a broken heart.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I am Sarah, the Raging Tomato, here bringing to you live another Throwdown Thursday. Joining with me tonight is John Felix, a self proclaimed modern day abolitionist. And you have the claim that the government is detrimental to freedom and fortune. I believe, John, you actually made it to where you explained to me that the streets would be paved in gold if it weren't for our government. I can't wait to dive into all that. Throw it on me.
Oh, so thanks for having me. That opening intro, just a little traumatizing, man. Got little nightmares for my virgin ears and eyes. But anyway, I'm a constitutionalist. To me, the Constitution is basically a controlled anarchy.
Mhm.
While a lot of people say anarchy is, everything would be crazy. Well, the Constitution is basically a controlled anarchy. In other words, the best of anarchy without the worst of anarchy, in my opinion. So if we followed that to the letter and individual freedom was key, you wouldn't have tens of thousands of unconstitutional laws. Think about if you didn't have to pay an income tax, a gasoline tax, a tax. What is not taxed? What is it that you're allowed to do in this country without paid permission? Can you cut a tree down in your backyard without paid permission from the government? The amount of money that we earn versus what the government spends in return. In other words, $4 billion seems like nothing in this day and age, but $4 billion I think only 20 billion is needed to end homelessness in this country or end starvation or hunger or whatever the case may be. You can get it done for about $20 billion. The government wipes its ass with $20 billion, but we keep sending them this money. How can we spend $8 trillion on the war on terror, which was a farce, but our bridges, our roads, our kids keep getting dumber? This stuff is all done by design. Like the government we have now is basically a Ponzi scheme that's going to come to a head, like it did in 2008, and they just gave retroactive immunity to all the bankers that were committing all the crimes, all the financial crimes. When AT&T was surveilling everybody and finally the whole country realized they were listening to our calls, retroactive immunity. Like these people are stealing your money by force and no one ever does or says anything about it. And the amount of money they waste on the military and bombing other countries, like one bomb could probably build 10 schools. Mm-hmm. So if we ran this country by the Constitution, and the Constitution isn't perfect. Even I want to repeal the 16th and 17th Amendment, but it's called amendments for a reason. You can amend it.
Yeah.
What you can't do is what they do now. The reason they can do it is because they have a monopoly on force, but on paper and legitimately speaking, they can't do what they're doing lawfully. They can't just say the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed unless you walk into a courthouse, unless you go to a police station. Like, we've spun so far out of control. Let me finish this opening statement because I know I'm rambling now. We spun so out of control. The money we give them, we could literally have 10-lane highways, no traffic, the easiest life that Americans deserve because we produce so much. All right, there we go.
That's fair. My apologies.
No.
So can we kick off with what do you think the duty of the government is to the people, or is there a duty at all?
The duty is to preserve, protect, and defend our individual liberties and
Mhm.
our homeland from invaders.
Okay.
In a nutshell, but just like Bible speak, you could take that verse or what I just said and translate it 1,000 different ways.
Right.
It's pretty explicit. The Constitution is pretty explicit, and it kind of says anything that's not strictly written in here for the government to be allowed to do, then it's prohibited to do or goes back to the people, to the states or the people, respectively.
So in terms of protect, defend, preserve, right? I mean, obviously that costs money. So we are sending tax money to ensure that that duty. At what point did it go kind of haywire? What point did we lose track of that? Because I feel like the taxes kind of got added on, over the years, and then we are spending more and more and more into things that maybe we're not even utilizing, or maybe it's not even the nation's duty to ensure that. And then I'll even add on. You said we could cure hunger with $20 billion, or homelessness, or whatever the case may be. But then, are we doing that? And wait, is it our duty to do that? Is it not our duty to do that? So on and so forth.
Okay, as far as duty goes, it might not be the government's duty to end homelessness or hunger, but if they can send $20 billion to Ukraine to launch missiles at Russia, then they can spend $20 billion here first.
Right.
The government is much like a household. If there's some lunatic in the household that's spending all the money, the rest of the household's like, yo, stop. You have to stop. We're taking this away from you. You no longer have this authority. Or if the main person in the house is beating on someone, the other people put a stop to it. It's not that far different from the government. You got some asshole up there who's taking our money by force and then using it to murder people overseas while we're in shambles. And if you don't want to spend the money to fix our shambles, then you're definitely better not be spending it somewhere else.
I like you so much. We're gonna have so much fun. So, and what is the difference between that of the because we have the federal government doing the overseas work, but then we also have our state governments that are supposed to be taking care of us here on the homebounds, right, and protecting us on that realm. What is the difference between the two, or is there a difference in duties to preserve, so on and so forth? How is the state? How is the state supposed to be getting involved with this?
Well, the state should be anything the Fed does that's unconstitutional. The state says you're not. The state should say you're not doing that here.
Hmm.
So federal, let's see, weed's illegal, which is unbelievable that it's still illegal in this day and age.
Right, right.
It's just unbelievable. And again, it's about money and control. So where was I going with this?
State and government difference.
Oh yeah, so the Fed says weed's illegal. Certain states are like, F you. No, it's not. And that's their job, is to the balances, right? Fed says it's unconstitutional. The state should say that's unconstitutional. It goes, not only does it go against the federal constitution, it goes against the Florida constitution. So F you and your weed laws. The problem is though, now you go to get a gun and on there say, are you addicted to anything or do you smoke weed? And if you say yes, now you're not allowed to own a gun, but weed's legal in the state I'm in. So now you got,
Conflicting
contradicting
information.
BS. That's why when it says shall not be infringed, unless you can get 2/3 or 3/4 of the states to agree to amend the Second Amendment, you need to keep your dirty mittens off of it. That's the only teeth we have. Think about it, we're the only country left that still has a right to bear arms. The countries that don't, England, they're just a surveillance state. You have to pay to watch TV. They send cops to your home if you don't pay the government for television service. 4 million cameras. They arrest people for Facebook posts. We're the only country left that has a First and Second Amendment. So people that call us frauds and frauditors and blah, 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 they can go F themselves. There's nothing more important than the freedom of speech and expression, the First Amendment. And equally, the Second Amendment is what gives us teeth to say what we want. Anyone that's against guns or the First Amendment, they're not Americans. They're the equivalent of rhinos, Republicans, whatever. I'll just think of a different acronym for them.
Do you think that our First and Second Amendment rights are at risk in terms of with our government and the way that it kind of runs these regulations. For instance, you mentioned if you checked yes for, yes, I smoke weed and therefore, nope, you can't get a gun. But do you feel like even our freedom of speech is now kind of at risk for other topics? I hear just the same as what they're going through with England and Canada and all of these restrictions. Do you think that could make its way to us at some point if we keep letting the government run its course the way it's going right now?
You're talking about speech laws?
Mhm.
Well, they've
Mhm.
already done that. There's a IHRA definition of anti-Semitism. They're going hard on that one. So the international something IHRA, they've created a definition for what is anti-Semitism. And all these countries are passing that definition's version into law. While they actually did it here, for Ron DeSantis, the governor of California, Florida here, flew to Jerusalem to pass a Florida law that says it's illegal to say Israel runs other countries. Israel's doing what the Germans did in the 30s. You're not allowed to say that Jesus Christ was killed by Jews. So being a Catholic and believing what their book teaches you is going to be illegal under this definition. You can't say they own the news. You can't say this. You can't say that. Those are speech laws. And they are trying to pass that. And that's been going on for the last 6 or 7 years. So yes, speech laws are coming. Absolutely.
That's kind of a scary thought. So you had mentioned to me regarding the economy and so on, that it would be flourishing significantly better if it weren't for the government tapping into all of these other things. Does that have to do with just tax hits on us, or is it in other ways, like they are kind of in a long run restricting us from being able to be free to move about the country as we so choose in a general sense, but be free economically to do what we need to do? Like too many regulations, too many policies, too many red
All
tape.
right. Sure.
Mhm.
Just to be able to have a vehicle and drive around, first you need the money for the car. Let's say you found a car cheap, $500. Now you need 200 for a license plate. Now you need 80, 90, 100 for the slave card. I call it a slave card. Then you got to get hundreds of dollars just to be able to get into a vehicle and travel, which is what freedom is, the ability to move around unmolested, right? Just to be able, in this free country where you have freedom to move about, you need hundreds of dollars and paid permission from the government to get into your own private property, a car, and move about. That's step one right there.
Mhm.
It's been my life's mission to get rid of the driver's license. To me, that's just they use that to control and abuse. Cops, first thing out of their mouth, let me see some ID. Like it's crack to them. Let's get some ID. So the ID, first get rid of that right there. Now, just imagine what kind of freedom that opens up right there. That's cops use that. The courts use that against guys who don't pay child support. You can't pay your child support. We're going to suspend your freedom and liberty to be able to move around and get to a job. That makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
So there's that. And then as far as economically, you work like when we make YouTube revenue, how much they hit you with right off the top? 25%. Boom. 75. They decided, and it's not that you are paying 25%, it's they are deciding how much of your money you get to keep. Think about that. That's slavery. They're deciding how much of your labor you get to keep. And people are okay with this. Again, the founders would be up in arms. We're just spineless anymore. And it wouldn't even you wouldn't even need weapons. You don't need violence. If we could just organize, if 500 people went to every council meeting and said fluoride out of the water, in a couple of weeks, the fluoride would be out of the water. If they went to the council meeting and said, any gun law is not going to be gun law in our county anymore. Do you understand that, Sheriff? Or do we have to get a sheriff in here that's going to understand that? It doesn't take that many people. It takes an irate minority to get things done. But we can't even get an irate minority to organize because we're busy fighting with each other.
Oh, well, that's no good. So with the driving concept, right? Obviously, if I get in my vehicle, I'm utilizing roads that have been provided by my local government, my city, state, even the interstate, so on and so forth. So I am traveling on kind of their property.
Whose
Now, if
property? Whose property?
well, I guess it would technically be ours if we paid the taxes to put it together, correct? But then if I claim that's my property, right, then at what point if something happens, who am I suing, right?
The
Who's
person
taking care of it? Who am I maintaining it?
you would sue I'm sorry, as far as what the maintenance?
Like maintenance, or if something happens on it, like who's taking the responsibility and accountability for those roads?
Something happens. Give me an example. Like you hit somebody or somebody hit
Uh,
you.
well, let's say there's a, giant thing that's in the middle of the road and the state hasn't removed it and I hit it or something, and like, are they taking accountability for it?
Well, that's each situation you would have to be taken up in court. Because there's a million variables in every case. Did the government put something there intentionally to get in your way? Did it
Mhm.
fall there? Did the wind put it there?
Mhm.
Did you were you looking down at your phone when you hit it? There could be a million different reasons.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that makes sense.
so if you hit someone else, now, I have no problem with there being an identifying number on a car. I do
Mhm.
have a problem with the government. You pay the government for permission to put a number on your car so they can keep stealing your money every year. No, that's racketeering. That's a Ponzi scheme. It doesn't keep anybody safer. It does, and they always use safety as the reason to steal your money and freedom. Because every single time one of these things happens, they're taking just a little bit of your freedom away and your money every year now.
Mhm.
$180 is no joke, or whatever the case may be, and $100. Why should I give them $100 to renew an effing sticker? It's a sticker. The sticker cost a quarter, and I guarantee you it was made in Taiwan or something. Like, this is all, like, if you really think about it, they're making fun of us so bad. Like, we are cattle to them.
Mhm.
They guarantee you, they sit there and they count their money and they're smoking cigars and they got their Epstein homies bringing them the honey pots, and they're laughing in our face. And we want to sit here and go, "Oh, you're a Democrat. Oh, you're a Republican." No, bro. It's us versus them. They don't give a F about you.
God, we need to talk more. Okay, so but with the driving on the road, and you mentioned kind of like the registration, license plate, the little sticker, so on and so forth. I mean, do we want just anybody being able to, like, for instance, how do we keep 12-year-olds off the road while you have to have a driver's license and
I'll
of
tell
a
you.
certain age?
Yes. Okay,
Mhm.
so I think it should be, well, you can put an age on it. That's fine.
Mhm.
But it used to be 15 to get your permit when I was in Ohio. Now it's like 18 or something, because I don't know because why. But in high school, there's a man, if you don't, if you're homeschooled or something, there's a mandatory test that you have to pass, and it's not a six. It should be a week long, comprehensive, mandatory safety skill test. You pass that, and now you've passed. End of story. Be a
Mhm.
free person now. And I don't mind there being identifying numbers on a car so you can identify who, if you get in a hit and run and you can't just take off. That makes sense. But not for the government to have, and to have us all in a database and to just sit there and hunt human beings. That's what cops do all night. They sit there and run tags. Got me. Got me a fish. Here's more money. Get me some new chevrons. I'm the man. Hey, baby. I stole hundreds of dollars tonight off people that weren't doing nothing to know.
So how do we know those drivers have passed that comprehensive test though?
You would have to force that test. You have to get rid of this system, and then the system moving forward is, I see. I guess they could carry a certificate of something, but that doesn't matter if you're being dangerous on the road. I'm not saying don't pull them over. If they're being dangerous, you pull them over.
Mhm.
And you say you did XYZ. I'm charging you with this. Now we go to court and we explain to a neutral judge. Judge, he was swerving so much, I was scared that he was going to hurt himself or somebody else. Here's the
Mhm.
video, Judge. And then you go, Your Honor, with all due respect, I was just reaching for something and it was just a short period of time. And then the judge makes a judgment.
Mhm.
The way it is now is pull over. We're willing to kill you over anything, a license plate light, a license. If you resist in any way during a traffic stop, regardless of how minuscule or petty the offense is, a cop believes that he can take your life if you resist. And that's a fact, and it's happened thousands of times. And people don't like that I use this language, but it's true. Once they put those lights on, they feel that they're in control. They own you. And regardless of how petty the infraction is, if you resist them at all, they feel like they can take your life. Is that really the American system we want to live under? That's the free America we live under? That in and of itself, if you think about it for 2 seconds, again, we should be up in arms. But we're not. Fantasy football.
Yes. Sorry. You're
I'm
so
sorry
right,
too.
though.
I crack the jokes because I don't want to lose my mind. Because if you know what I
Yeah,
mean,
but you're
it's just
right,
a
though.
break.
Circus and bread. Give them circus and bread, and they'll stay busy, right? No, you're not wrong. I mean, it is funny to think of fantasy football, but you're not wrong in the sentiment behind it and how we're all so busily distracted by all of these other things. We have
Mhm.
the Kardashians or football or Taylor Swift or silly things that keep us preoccupied from thinking about what we're actually living in the society and so on and so forth. You get up, you go to your job, you do your job, you pay your taxes, you come home, you have dinner with your family, you watch TV, you doom scroll for a while, you take your shower, you go to bed. No time to think about what the government's doing to hurt me or whether the government has my best interest at heart, right? So, what I mean, like hindsight 2020, where did we go wrong? Because I think, we the people, I think we had it right to begin with when we first kicked off this country. I think we had the right sentiment at heart. Where did we go wrong with that?
We lost our fighting spirit. Um, in the what was it, early 1900s, there was like I think they called it the Gilded Age between like 1880 and 1910 because there was a worker revolution and it was gilded with gold or blah blah blah, and things were really good. And 1913 rolls around, and the bankers, Morgan, what was it, Morgan, uh,
JP Morgan.
the oil guy, they had a meeting down in Jekyll Island, and they drafted up the Federal Reserve Act, and the Federal Reserve is a privately owned. It's not federal. It's like Federal Express, not federal. Privately owned central bank, something America didn't have before 1913, and they control our money supply. And as anyone knows, let me have control of the nation's money, and I don't care who you vote for. They get to decide. They get to decide the mortgage rate, the credit card rate, loan interest rates, and the Congress is not allowed to audit them. Anyone who's tried to audit them or go against them kind of gets bullets or get whizzing by their head or in their head. And that's what started the income tax. And from there, it just got worse and worse and worse. It started as a 1% tax. Now we're at like 25%. And that doesn't
Mhm.
include every other tax, 7% sales tax, a gasoline tax, tax on tax. Think about landscapers. Landscapers they got a truck, they got weed whackers, they got lawnmowers. Everything takes gas. So their whole business is taxed on its profit. And then every time they go to fill up all their equipment, they're charged a gasoline tax on top of it. So they get double screwed. It's
Mhm.
just not a fair system at all. And I'm not against taxes altogether. There's constitutional taxes. I think it's indirect apportioned taxes are legal, and corporate taxes are legal. But direct on a portion where it's like you give me your money, or IRS SWAT team shows up at your door, that is not constitutional. That's not American. And tax court in and of itself, you go to tax court, you have to prove yourself innocent. How is that American? Everybody knows you are innocent until proven guilty, until you go to tax court. You say, how much did you make? You tell me, prove me guilty. Oh, we're just going to say you made $55,000. They pull numbers out of the air, and then they find you guilty and take all your stuff away. But I
How do
digress.
you how do you how do you move around taxes then? I mean, I feel like you can't
In this day and
turn
age, it's
left, right
almost
without
impossible.
getting hit by it. I mean, you would almost have to just be a nomad, making cash only,
Yeah.
no property, no vehicle, no. I mean, maybe have a driver's license just because you kind of need one to get through. But uh, I mean, you would have to be living with a backpack and nothing else.
To avoid taxes in this day and age, yeah, they've made, and that's all part of the scheme. Because when they want to get rid of cash, why they want to get rid of cash so bad? Anything anonymous, they don't like because they can't get their cut. Google and all the Palantir and all these guys, they want every interaction, even between insects. They want it cataloged and journaled so they can recall it back and use it against you. All this stuff is to control and enslave you and to steal your money. That's all it is.
Where's
And
the
yeah,
money
in this day and
go?
age, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, where's the money go? I mean, you kind of
Ukraine,
yeah,
Israel. corporate oligarchs, weapons companies, the military industrial complex, they're homies. Even like every time a government does something, like even if they build a road, they get a bid for $50,000. One of their buddies got in their ear, and if it's 50,000, he's probably putting 15,000 in his pocket, paying the dudes a little bit, as little as possible, and then the road gets paved, but his homie got 15,000 in his pocket. And that happens all day, every day. Good people don't run for office. So there's a hole, and it vacuums up all the nasty people who like having control. And a lot of them get into city councils and commissioners, just either they're in real estate or there's an angle. There's always an angle. Not one of them is thinking about individual liberty or freedom when they get in there. Not one of them.
Has there ever been a good politician, or one that you
Ron
could
Paul.
stand behind? And what made him good?
He's a 30-year strict constitutionalist, always voted in favor of the Constitution. He took his oath seriously. And they marginalized him so bad. They went in on him so bad because he actually followed the Constitution and was going to cut the budget $1 trillion the first year. And they can't think about how many people would get screwed if an actual constitutionalist like me got in office. Not $1 would go to any foreign country. All these people that were greasing other politicians' pockets, lobbies, all that stuff, that would be over with. A guy like me, oh my God, I'd have to have like a bulletproof bubble just to walk around in. Get rid of the income tax, get rid of the feds, get rid of all the unconstitutional bureaucracies, any 3-letter agency, anyone that's not voted for. Like, who elected the FBI? That's not a constitutional agency. The highest elected law enforcement official in the country is your county sheriff. He's the highest elected law enforcement official. He could tell the FBI, don't come to my county. IRS, do not come to my county. DEA, do not come to my county. We will arrest you if you come to our county. Where are these guys at? Again,
They have that power?
Absolutely, they have that power. There was a sheriff in Bighorn, Wyoming, who told the feds came in and started messing with his citizens. He told them straight up, don't come to my county again and touch my citizens. We will arrest you. And they stop.
I didn't know you could do that.
Of course.
So
the sheriff is the highest elected law enforcement official.
So if every local sheriff told the IRS, the FBI, the CIA, the federal government to basically F off,
Don't come to my county.
Then they wouldn't have any power there whatsoever.
Well, of course they would claim they do. We're the federal government. They would claim that they have the power, but the sheriff is the highest. Who elected them? No one. Who elected the sheriff? The people of the county.
The people. And he's the representative of those people. Wow, I didn't know you could do that.
Absolutely. There's been 2 sheriffs that have actually tried it, and of course they tried to kill them. Jack McLam and I forget the other guy's name, which I'm ashamed. But yeah, there's been a couple sheriffs that have tried it, and then all the other sheriffs work against them because all the other sheriffs are not constitutionalists. They just swear that oath. Stop swearing the oath. Quit being a fraud. At least be honest. No, I'm not going to take this oath. I'm going to run this according to my feelings.
Do you think that it's just like, because sometimes I think that in society, like this is what we understand, right? And this is what we just accept as our society. And these are the rules we play by. And this is what, like, do you think maybe some of these, or the bulk of these other sheriffs or so on and so forth, elected officials, just don't know any better then?
Yeah, well, that's part of it. So they go with what's called de facto, exactly what you're describing. It's called de facto. It's widely accepted, even though it's illegitimate, like the income tax. It's not legitimate. It's not lawful. There's no law that says an American living and working in the United States has to pay a tax on their labor, the federal income tax. But millions of people do it anyway because they're scared. It's illegitimate, but it's de facto, and they act on it with real guns. So, yeah.
How do you not pay federal? Like, is there a way to go around it where you say, I'm just not going to pay the federal income tax? F off.
Well, yeah, you can. If you do it that way, they're going to come after you.
Mm-hmm.
You mean, is there a way you can do it and not have them come after you? No.
Yeah.
No, you're taking a chance. They don't care about law. They don't go by the law. And again, once you go to tax court, you could say, hey, Show me the law that says I got to pay a tax on my labor and I'll pay you. There's been so many people that have done this. There's a guy who worked for the IRS who did this, and he won in court. And they still won't admit that there's no law, because there is no law. And when the guy says, show me the law and I'll pay you everything you say I owe you, they just go, there is no law. It's not.
So how do you
voluntary? Huh?
Is it voluntary? I mean,
yeah, it's voluntary compliance. That's what got me started in this whole activism thing to begin with. I was in a community college my senior year. Instead of doing my homework, I was in the library and I went by a book called The Federal Mafia. It's by Irwin Schiff, and he explains from top to bottom how it's a voluntary tax. It was made to be under voluntary compliance because direct unapportioned taxes are unconstitutional, thus illegal. And then people will go back to the 16th Amendment and say the 16th Amendment then allowed direct unapportioned taxes. But the problem is the Supreme Court has ruled afterwards that the 16th Amendment gave Congress no new power of taxation. The same things they could tax before the 16th is what they could tax after the 16th. And it goes by profits or gains. Gains are taxable. You buy a stock for $20. You made it's up to 30. You made $10 in gains. That's taxable profit, corporate profit. When I work for somebody for 8 hours, I'm saying I will exchange these 8 hours for $100. Even exchange. There's no gains there.
Right.
I'm not a corporation. I'm an individual.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see. Okay. So that is my trade value with the corporate, right? They're paying me for my labor and time to do said job, but whatever they make in terms of the gain profits, they're the ones that should be paying taxes on it.
Right. And if you look, our defense, our military budget is exactly what the corporate tax rate is for the country. So the corporate taxes they take and is buried into the military. All the extra they take, where's that going?
Where is it going?
Not to us, buddy.
And how are we in so much debt? Do you have any thoughts on that one?
And who do we owe that debt to?
I don't know.
The Federal Reserve.
Out.
The Federal Reserve, which is a private bank owned by private families, the Rothschilds, the so-and-so. You can find a list of who owns the Federal Reserve. And they literally, you're borrowing money from families because that's how they set it up in 1913. But again, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm a truther. I'm a frauditor. Every name in the world and everything I've been preaching since the 90s has come true. Like I've been ahead of this news curve for 20 years and I've just been called name after name after name, but no one ever calls me a liar because I'm not lying. I've done my homework.
Wow. It's like a whole nother world. My eyes just opened up. So with this Federal Reserve and this debt that we owe, do you know where that even came? Like, what is this debt? We just borrowed money from all of these families and said, "Hey, can we tap into this, and then we'll pay you back though later?" Or
those three bankers went to the Jekyll Island. There's a book called The Creature from Jekyll Island. They created the Federal Reserve Act. Woodrow Wilson passed it into law during Christmas break when most of the Congress people were at home for Christmas break. He even said later on, I've sold my country out without even knowing it or something like that when he did that. So that created the Federal Reserve Act, created the Federal Reserve. Before the Federal Reserve, we were on the gold standard. So every dollar was like a receipt. This is how much gold you owned in the American, in the vault. After that, Federal Reserve came. Then they started the federal income tax, which was 1% for the army or for the military or whatever. And so those bankers created the Fed, and then the Fed, they say, hey, we need a loan. And then the Fed goes, just types in 10 trillion into a computer. And then the machine goes, chops all the money. They send it over to the U.S. Treasury. And now we owe them that money that they just typed into a computer because we've been off the gold standard since 1971. 1971, we've been off the gold standard. So now your money is not backed by gold anymore. It's backed by faith. They call it fiat currency.
Yes,
so fiat currency. So it's literally like paper form of crypto. It's literally nothing. And if there's ever a run or these other countries decide to stop using our currency as the world reserve currency, It's gonna hyperinflate, and then a loaf of bread's gonna cost $45.
How do you even pay that back then? I mean, if I mean, why can't somebody just go into that computer and just zero it out, right?
They
Like,
could, but that would take a patriot who was have to be in a bulletproof bubble. I mean, that's how serious that is. Think about the
wow.
control they have. Every mortgage, every house, every insurance rate, everything of the economy runs through this private bank first.
Maybe I might be mixing up information, but I think I remember somebody telling me something about this that happened in Germany, and this was kind of like the kickoff of World War II, where they were already hyperinflating
The
interests
Weimar
and
Republic.
taxes. Is this kind of very similar? Is this
Yeah.
the same thing?
Yes, the Weimar Republic is when Germany, their money inflated so bad that they came crashing down. It was called the Weimar Republic, and then Hitler came in and started criticizing. You guys see what you guys got with these guys? No, you come with me. So he used that as a launching pad to become a superstar himself and get himself elected. He was actually elected, and it did come off the bank of that hyperinflation that you're talking about in the Weimar Republic.
No, was he able to shut that down though?
He
Was that
I don't know about shut it down, but when he got elected, he started doing socialist type things like the Autobahn, and they invented a ton of things that we use today. Fanta, you had a Fanta before, that's them. The Volkswagen Beetle, Adidas, Boss, Boss. You've heard of Boss clothing line. All their outfits and stuff were designed by him. Adidas was a Nazi Germany thing. They started what do you call it? They were very progressive, and they're building, and it was easy back then. You could just get on a microphone and everyone had a radio, and all they heard was him. But now we're winning the information war because people understand that the TV's been lying to them for decades. I was called so many names back in the. If that were true, that we didn't have to pay taxes, it would be all over the TV. It would be all over the TV. And then the internet came out, right? When you can actually research stuff. Oh, where'd you hear that on the internet? You heard that on the internet? Now think about someone saying, where'd you hear that on the internet? Yeah, that's where everybody hears everything now. Wake up.
So, okay, but have we come to a point where people are opening their eyes and maybe not necessarily being rebellious, but to some degree having a rebellion towards this structure that is holding us down?
More people have. I mean, is it enough? No. But I tell everybody, they incrementally, got us to where we're at now. We're not just gonna in one fell swoop, swipe a sword and cut all that down. Incrementally, we got to tackle each thing. Start with the income tax, or start with the whatever your thing is, and one thing at a time, we'll get back to where we were. It's not going to be an overnight solution as much as I would like it to be. I've been saying these things for 20 some years, and all I've gotten is ridicule and flack and name calling. Finally, now, the things I said about 9/11, Oklahoma City, all that, people realize that was done by for ulterior motives and not the official conspiracy theory. People are realizing that now. I'm not so crazy anymore.
Well, I mean, like you said, you've been doing this for 20 years, and it's been kind of a slow rolling machine, but at what point does it become enough to make a push? Like, what do we have to do to push?
You know what? I thought something like that Charlie Kirk assassination would wake a lot of people up, but for Americans, I think what really wakes them up is when their SNAP benefits don't get paid, like almost last week. That went a week or two longer, that would have been whoa. So suffering, people have to suffer. I hate to say it, but people are gonna have to start suffering. Go, what the hell? That's the only time they really wake up, because as long as their cable and internet and their phones are working, and they got their fantasy football or whatever it is they're into,
Complacent.
Yeah.
Complacent. Well, but I mean, would
Can I go
people
pee
with
real quick? I'm so sorry.
Oh, take your time. I'll
I'm old. I'll
entertain
be
the
right back.
chat. Do your
Right back.
thing. I know that feeling. Don't worry. Don't worry. And hello, everyone. We've got about maybe 20 more minutes, and I will be dropping the link to open the panel up, and we can further this discussion. So if you have something to add to the conversation, you're more than welcome to jump on, and we'll get you kicked off and have a good old time. If you're not familiar with this platform, We love our open panels. We love new people. We welcome you with open arms. It's like Pandora's box. You never know what you're going to get once the panel opens up. We do like to play a fun little boot game as well. So if there's somebody who's on the panel that is annoying you, John is linked in. His chat is linked in. So obviously, if you send super chats, we'll get to those here shortly. But during the open panel, you can choose with $10, a measly easy $10. You can send that to John or myself to boot somebody off the panel if they're just getting on your nerves and driving you up a wall. However, somebody can also pay to bring them back up. So here in our house, you have full control of this show and you get to have the fun with it and do what you will. The chat always wins. So, and I muted you just while you stepped away. There we go. Okay, so with the complacency, right? And it is easy. I'd say it is easy to just go to work, pay your taxes, have it easy, get with the system, just move through sheep like, get through the ringer, whatever, assembly line it along. But you mentioned that people on the SNAP benefits would have in turn flipped, right? Had that gone on a little longer. I would actually kind of maybe be more disagreeable to that because those people aren't as resourceful, right? If they were, they probably wouldn't be utilizing SNAP benefits the way they do. They're probably not paying into income tax or anything of the such. They're actually probably getting back. They probably utilize the government and all its resources to tap into, anything that they can take from instead of give back to. I would think it would actually be people who are giving more on their end into the system versus those who are getting out of the system.
So
if I'm getting free shit,
Mhm.
I'm probably not going to go throw an uproar against getting free shit. Even if some of my stuff got canceled out, I'm still getting free stuff here or free stuff there.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to raise hell.
The point I'm making, maybe not SNAP in and of itself, but something to where they're like, how about inflation? So a roll of toilet paper is 50 cents. What if it becomes $4? That's another thing, the inflation tax. So some type of suffering. The Americans don't really do anything until they're suffering in some way. As long, like you said, as long as they got their fantasy, they got their internet, they can watch their porn at night or whatever, play their video games or whatever it is. It's hard to look outside of that. It's hard to look outside your immediate bubble and yourself and your family. And they want it that way. Like that whole women's revolution or women's liberation thing. They wanted us, both people in the house working. It keeps the kids away from the parent, right? And now you got two taxpayers in each house. That was all fabricated by them.
Yeah, I would definitely be agreeable to that. I think the whole feminism push, universal suffrage, so on and so forth, I think that pushed women. I mean, women were already working, but it pushed them into a role in which they were paying taxes into something. And now they had like, oh, well, your vote counts, but also we're going to charge you too. So I think that inevitably it was a dismantling of the family unit, but also a part of how much more can we get from the household. If they're both working and she has her independence, we can charge her an income tax as well. And you're onto something with getting the kids out of the home or away from their parents. That's a big piece that I'm highly agreeable on. It's been sending them, like we had this big push to send all the kids to college over the last couple decades. It was a big deal, especially our young ladies, getting them out of the house, away from their fathers, away from their mothers, away from their guidance, so on and so forth. Let's send you to a school. We're going to fill you with a bunch of trash that doesn't matter, a bunch of information that we're going to put you in liberal arts and make you feel like you're smart because you came out with a degree. And then we're going to run you into all of these teachers who have these wrong talking points that are completely off the charts, make you feel like you're free to do this and say that and yada, yada, yada. And then we're going to send you back home to mom and dad where you're going to learn to hate them because they disagree with you. And then now we've completely dismantled your entire family unit, top to bottom, to where even you don't want your grandkids or your babies to see their grandparents later on when you've established your home with your stuff. And now we've seen start to finish, and I know I'm rambling, but we've seen start to finish a completely disassemblance of family units, not only from your immediate family, but now we're moving away from our family. We don't want to live by them. Oh, your parents are toxic. That's why you shouldn't talk to them anymore. You shouldn't associate. Just like blood is not that important. Traditions, throw them out. They're trash. Millennials, we are not traditionalists. We were the last of the traditionalist generation, and we've just thrown it all away because my family was toxic. My dad was mean. My mom was a bitch, so on and so on and so forth. And why? Because all of these therapists told us, hey, your parents avoided you as children. They neglected you. They didn't treat you like they. We've infantilized children across the board, made them feel like children, but then also tell them they don't need their mommy and daddy. I'm done.
Woman after my heart, right there. I mean, I couldn't have said that any better myself. They hate the idea of a family. They hate the idea of people sticking together, and they hate the idea of Americans sticking together and having that nationalist American, we're all one big American family idea. That's the opposite of what they want, and you could tell by their actions and everything you just said, the way they fight so hard to split the family up. And with that woman's liberation, that killed two birds with one stone. Get the kid away from the parents and double the national tax rate, which goes to the Federal Reserve, and the cycle starts over.
Yeah.
Fantasy football.
Well, I'm just going to name this stream Fantasy Football. So what do we do? Like, how do we? I mean, I know that you could try. Like, even my daughter, she's 16, right? So obviously, I've got less than 2 years before she kicks off, and thankfully, she's kind of thinking of local, and she's being smart about it, and she's thinking about my wallet at the same time. But it scares the shit out of me, right? Knowing that she's about to fly out of the nest and be free into all of this.
Scary.
It like the TikTok and the just brain frying of bullshit. And how do we stop that?
Like this. Have conversations. Keep talking about it. This is how the same way they did it to us. Relentless. Day in, every second of every day, 24-hour propaganda BS on the TV. The same. We're doing that, except we're spewing the truth. At least what we believe to be the truth, the positive things, the things Americans are supposed to be, free, together, back each other up. Like, nobody really disagrees with me. A lot of people just don't like me because I'm brash towards the government, and they're still in the mind that government's there to protect them. When it's the equivalent of this guy's, when you tell your friend, because when you're on the outside looking in a relationship, he's lied to you 100 times. Why are you still with this guy? Oh, they just make every excuse in the world why they stay with this abusive man. But here comes John. What are you doing? And then she's like, oh, you're so mean, John. Leave me alone. This guy's lying to you over and over. He hit you the other day. Oh, it's because just find the same reason you don't stay with an abusive man is the same reason you don't trust government. They're not there to help you. They are not there to help you. They show it to you. They do it on camera. They say it to your face. What is it going to take? Break up with them already.
Okay, but what about we remember 2020 and the things that happened during that time? I'll be mindful how I say it. What if they pull another one of those? These mandates, these lockdowns, these can't move about the country, can't do this, can't do that, can't even go out to eat, can't stay 6 feet away. What if they do that too? I mean, it was really rough because you were stuck between a rock and a hard place in some aspects, because it's like, I want to be able to go to the grocery store, but they got a cop sitting outside the grocery store telling me that I have to put a thing on my face to do this before I can even go in here. I just want to get my milk. I just want to get my eggs. Like, how do you maneuver if they do something like that again?
You ignore them. Mass ignoring. If 30 people walk by the cop at Walmart without a mask on, what's he gonna do? Call a SWAT team? It's like I said, one person at a time. I was the only guy. I walk into Walmart, he'd say something, I'd literally just stick my hand up and walk by him and just go shopping. I wouldn't wear a mask. I had to wear a mask one time through the whole thing, because I make rings out of silver coins, okay? And there's only 1 or 2 shops per city where you can go buy these things. And the guy was an ass. He had all the partitions up. You're walking into a damn science experiment. And I had a doggy sweater in my car, and I made a mask out of a doggy sweater. Other than that, I ignored them.
Doggies.
If everybody ignored them, even the cops with the license plate, if everybody took their license plate off, license plate laws would disappear because they can't enforce it. We let them. If everyone took their license plate and took their license and threw it in the trash tomorrow, and then every car on the road didn't have a plate on it tomorrow, can they enforce that? No, they can't. We let them by capitulating, by obeying. Stop obeying.
Yeah, we do have the numbers on our side.
1,000 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
We could literally ignore them out of existence.
Now, what if they do this? I mean, we saw the National Guard get pulled for
You
I think
outnumber them too.
Chicago, so on and so forth. I mean, but they have pews, right? And I'm
So do
like,
we.
we do, but are you going to go up against like an army? How do
Well,
you go up
I hate
against
to
an
say it,
army?
but that's what the founders did.
Yeah, true. Okay.
The irate minority. It was 3% of America who fought the Civil War for us. It was the irate minority. And you don't have to point guns at anybody necessarily. Like I said, the sheriff of whatever county that is could say, hey, I need 1,500 volunteers. Deputize all of them. Say, we don't want the National Guard here. You're not coming here. And then if the National Guard decides to fire upon them, then you have a civil war. But someone's got to take a stand somewhere. You know what? That happened in where did it happen at? Nevada, Bunkersville, the Bundy Ranch. They took on the government, and the government lost. And there was guns pointed at each other. And Americans came from several states, and they took their rifles and they aimed them at the Bureau of Land Management for trying to steal the land of this farmer. They were sniping his cows from helicopters. They were burying his cows in the desert there, and people came and they fought back, and the BLM and the federal government backed them off. It was an armed standoff. That's what the Civil War was like. It wasn't one huge war. It was hundreds of little battles, little spats all over the country, just like Bunkersville. So it's not that out of the realm of possibilities that could happen. And it might need to happen, unfortunately. And I'm the least violent person in the world, but violence is a last resort, and it should be the last resort for self-defense. So if they come at us, they're really gonna leave us no choice.
What? Oh my gosh. I'm like, my brain's frying right now.
Outside of that, we do this. We talk and we talk and we talk and we talk and we talk till we're blue in the face. But once it reaches that point, they leave you no choice.
Do you think if prices raise enough, if the economy takes the shit enough, if people are hungry enough, if people are tired enough, that eventually more people will kind of come to that conclusion and start listening to these things and have the ability to assemble and put together for this?
The assembling part is the hardest part. Organizing is the hardest part. Look at the auditing movement. We've made some strides, man. It went from like 10 guys back in 2012. So now there's more auditors than you can even name or look up. And while that's great, we still need 100 times exponentially more auditors than there are. It's still not enough. They laugh at us right in our face. The courts laugh at us. But like, if somebody goes and audits a place and the cops or whoever's there fails, there should be 30, 50 more guys go in there every single day until they realize that we're in charge, not you. Mm-hmm. You have to follow the Constitution. But American men, again, they're busy playing in stupid games, and this stuff doesn't cross most American men's mind. They don't think about it.
Do you think there's some bad actors out there that kind of tarnish the I guess the brand of the auditors? Or I mean, I've heard of some little pieces out there where they say the wrong things and do the wrong stuff and get in the wrong trouble, right? And it kind of tarnishes that branding of what auditors do and what they're here for. How do you mitigate that when there's bad actors?
Are you saying bad actors who intentionally go out and try to make us look bad? Or are you talking about bad actors who go out there and try to be an auditor and have no clue what they're talking about?
Both, but probably more along the ones that have no clue what they're talking about. Maybe not
Well,
necessarily on purpose, but they're doing things and it's like, oh, stop it, stop
well,
it.
those guys can be detrimental to the movement, but just like with any movement, you're going to have your bad actors, and until
Mhm.
we get enough good ones to outweigh, the good ones outweigh the bad ones anyway. And if an auditor says something that isn't factual, he immediately gets hit in the comments. Like, no, bro, you're stating California laws and you live in New Jersey. It's just they get community noted. If you're going to be an auditor, know what you're talking about. That's what I try to tell them. Don't also watch. You can watch my channel and watch the stupid mistakes I made, because I made a bunch of mistakes coming up too. The thing is, you can't wait till you're perfect. You have to go out, and as if you're acting in good faith and you're giving it your best effort, and you're willing to take some criticism and change and progress along the way, Godspeed. If you're just a bad actor and you're out there to pretend you're an auditor to make us all look bad, F you. We can
Right.
ignore you out of existence too. We'll just ignore you out of existence too.
Do you feel like counties, cities, local statesmen, do you think that they're taking you seriously sometimes? Or is it mostly uh, like the most difficult thing you could try to do is to try to establish your grounding and say, no, we're in charge in that aspect? Do you feel like people take you seriously for that? Or judges, cops?
If we showed up in mass, would they take us seriously? Yes. If we show up one at a time, they could care less. They just keep, like, for instance, I have this DMV in my where I live, and they don't allow recording in the lobby. Well, that violates all kinds of laws, case law, the First Amendment. I've told them all this. I gave them a cease and desist, and they just laugh at you. And until you actually get in their pockets, their personal pockets, or cost them their job, they don't care. Or cost them an election. You have to organize. It's not like the civil rights lawyer. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's wonderful. God bless him. He's so popular now that if he does a story, that police department gets so much attention, so many phone calls, and so many emails that they have to act. So this is the best way, is to shine the light on their corruption.
Pressure,
exposés, exposure.
have
People
you
don't know this
seen
stuff.
have you seen more success or more failures along the way with these attempts to shine the light and put pressure on communities?
Me personally, or the movement?
You, and then maybe the movement as
Me
well.
personally, yeah. Like I said, since the 90s, I've been this kook who a conspiracy theorist, every name in the book. Yet anyone I debate has never proved me wrong on anything I've said. I've had a YouTube channel since 2011. I've said everything I've said over and over again. Not one person's been able to come on either in the comments or debate me live and say, you said this and it's totally wrong. I've yet to have anybody say that. So if I'm not wrong, no one can prove me wrong. Have I said anything to you that sounds outlandish?
Mm-mm.
Then why am I getting to call all these names? Americans have cognitive dissonance, and they just can't believe that a government would fly planes into a building. They can't believe that a government or a cell inside the government would plant bombs at the Murrah building and actually do that to its own citizens. It's hard to imagine how corrupt and how meaningless life is to a lot of people, and especially power hungry people within the government. We should treat, like the founder said, we should treat them like fire. We need the fire, but you have to control the fire, or else we're all going to get burned.
That makes sense.
And yes, to answer your question, yes, I was a nobody. Now people act like, I don't know, they see me in public and they act like I'm somebody, and it's very flattering, but all I am is just a high school dropout who does a lot of research.
How would somebody even get started within that community? How would you, if somebody saw something going on in their community, whether local, state level, federal, whatever, how do they go about even saying this is wrong? Like, how do I fight it?
I'd say pick the best auditors and try to mimic one of their styles. Like I Am Free Inland Auditing Media, that guy's amazing. Long Island, very cordial. He's good. Freeman, all them people have. Those are 3 different distinct styles. Each one of those.
Mhm.
Pick one of those and go for it. And do the
And how
best
do
you
you
can. Know what the hell you're talking about. Get your facts straight. If you're not good at memorizing stuff, have a clipboard, have a cheat sheet. If you're not good verbally, record, overdub it later, have someone else do, you just got to find the best way, know what the hell you're talking about, fact check yourself, have some self-reflection to learn by your own mistakes, and get out there, man.
It's fair. That's fair. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna drop the StreamYard link over in my chat to so for anybody wanting to jump on for open panel, the link is officially going to be pinned, and I'll continue dropping it as well. And John, if you want to drop it on your side too, I'll drop. Well, yeah, you have it back there. If you want to drop it to your people, they're more than welcome to
Description
join.
of my video, if I'm not mistaken.
I know you dropped it in the private chat backstage, but either way, however, or they can come over here and grab it on it is pinned. My mom says she watches Long Island. She's a big fan of
Good.
that community. And
Good
while they all start piling backstage, let's go ahead through some super chats that came in on both ends. Peace Dynamo says the Big Five says fan of Felix for a while. Thanks. I
Thank
like
you.
Peace.
Thank you.
Peace has been here for a while. And also says, great to see you on the Raging Tomato. You sent that over on your end.
Thank you.
Tube
Here.
says, look at the corruption in Ratier imposter situation. Ryder? Is
Chris
that
Ryder,
Ryder?
maybe. Chris Ryder.
Imposter
Oh, yeah.
situation.
I know what he's talking about. He's talking about drama between 2 auditors.
So you guys have, I'm sure drama is everywhere. I mean, even in YouTube or even in real life, work, so on and so forth. How does that impact the auditor community when you guys are not working together towards the same situation?
It's just like Republicans and Democrats when they fight with each other. It's detrimental to the cause. It's pointless, and I'm not going to engage in it. You guys want to fight amongst each other and call each other names. A lot of it has to do with jealousy. A lot of it has to do with I don't like his style. But ultimately, if we're all in here for the First Amendment and those reasons, then there should really be no infighting. I'm not interested in any of that stuff.
That's fair. That's fair. Brick says, gosh, Brick, I think this is the first time you've ever sent a super. It says, civic duty is a necessity required of individuals willing to put their own freedoms at risk to ensure that those unable to do so can have this same freedom. Record your government, hold it accountable.
Hear, hear.
Is that just kind of like more of a statement there, right?
Yeah.
In terms of let's OTBO. I always mess his name up.
Overturn Terry versus Ohio. Let's Otvo. Good guy.
We are all the people. Fair enough. And Silver and Fool says, please show picture of the dollar value since 1913. What is that? Is that like the graph or?
I think what he's trying to say is, I think the dollar value is worth about 3 cents what it was in 1913. That's usually what people are saying when they say that. It has 97% less buying power than it did back then.
97. Oh,
in other words, if a loaf of bread cost 97 cents back then, it would cost $9.70 today because of the inflation. That's where he's going with that.
Okay. Brick says again, honorable men need to be elected. The elected need be scrutinized and vetted to the ends of the earth. The oath should be taken seriously. It's an honor oath. Loyalty to the Constitution is required. Salute to the U.S., I think.
Word. Another way Americans could really overturn this government is through jury nullification, because what a lot of people don't know is, and a lot of courts don't want them to know is, when you're a juror, not only do you get to judge the facts of the case, You get to judge the law itself. So if whoever they're convicting, if you think the law they're using to convict that person is bad, you as a juror can say no. And that's how you nullify bad laws without having to beg your congressman or have a million unanswered emails and phone calls, or yeah, he'll call you never. And even if you do talk to him, they'll be like, and ignore you. So think about that. Next time you're on a jury and the law, to me, if there's no victim, there's no damages, there's no trespassing, and there's no endangerment of the public, then the law is invalid. So if it doesn't fit one of those 5 things, you should nullify that law, in my opinion.
Okay. Polyglocks says, I'm here for the Felix bobblehead giveaway. Is this an inside joke?
I like to crack a lot of jokes, so I'm sure. Yeah, Polyglocks is a follower of mine. What's up, dude? He's always on my Facebook. Good guy, good followers. And yeah, I'm very much into humor and insult comedy. So I'm sure you're not getting that impression tonight, but in general, I'm a smiley, laughy, jokey guy. I like to crack jokes. I like insult comedy. You know, if I'm not making fun of you, we're not friends. So things like that. So he's making a bobblehead joke. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I have no explanation, actually. Forget everything I just said the last 30 seconds.
Right. I'm just taking it as it is. Thanks for the $5.
There you go. I was Felix explaining. There we go.
Snap says, John Felix rocks. Oh my goodness. It's okay. I'm assuming Felix, they make fun of you for that one too. That's another.
That's a guy from Australia who made my intro song video.
Oh, fun. Now, what would you say, before I bring on the panel, what would you say the hardest part about auditing is? Like, what is the biggest challenge that you face on a daily basis?
I mean, the chances of you going to jail are 1,000 times more than if you didn't audit. That's, first of all, you better expect you should almost expect to get arrested every time you go out. And again, the courts are unfair. Finding a civil rights lawyer is next to impossible. And then the haters suck. They suck. The fact that you're exercising your rights and other Americans hate you for exercising your rights. That, I don't know. Pick one of those.
I mean, isn't it easier to be complacent, right? Like, just go home, be complacent, just go home and do your thing, live a happy life, retire, have your 401k, enjoy your time with your grandbabies and go to bed, right? Like, why, and I'm only putting myself in the shoes that could possibly think this, like, why are you fighting this fight when you could just be home and enjoying life and you know,
ask that person, where would they be if the founding fathers didn't pick up their rifles? Where would they be?
That's fair.
Someone did it for us. The least we could do is go on the internet and blab or vote the right way. Those guys literally spilled blood for us.
That's fair. That's fair. And big $2 comes in over on your end just to say nothing. I like that. All right. Well, let's go ahead and bring the panel on. I've got a few backstage. Of course, Joe Cool.
Yes.
He couldn't resist. And thank you to you, Joe Cool, for putting this on. All
Joe,
right.
Thank you.
Let's kick it off. I think a lot of your auditing friends came out to play. Chill out, Phoenix. Joe, of course, Joe's the one that set up this lovely rendezvous for all of us. Thank you, Joe. I owe you big time on that one. Clay, I think you're probably in agreement with John. Scott, where do you stand on this? Are you in full agreement on?
I'm next to John. I'm next to John.
Are you?
John,
Are you?
actually, literally next to John. I'm in Tampa.
Right on, brother.
But you're sitting on the 1A community as well, I'm assuming, correct?
I'm not an auditor, but I do push back, and I have a lot to say about this. And I could probably invoke Dusty up here because he'll go against half of what I say. So,
Oh, well, I'll text Dusty, tell him Scott DeBee's here and is inquiring his presence. I'll text him.
we need his pushback.
His pushback. Well, what is your pushback?
Well, my pushback isn't much. It's just to aid. When you talk about remedy, you need to think about the Administrative Procedures Act, because the way a bill collector comes at you is the same way you can notice even government actors and say, look, here, respond to this. If you don't respond to this line by line with affidavits, then they're not rebutting things. Okay. So if they do respond within a certain amount of time, well, then now you might need to change your approach. But if they don't, you actually have them, because silence is acquiescence. You all know that, and it becomes law. So if you take that, you do it through a notarial process. You can't just do it yourself. You have to do it proper. Read the Administrative Procedures Act. Look at what the bill collectors are doing, and you can turn the game around on them. A number of things have to happen. You got to put forms in different departments so that they know your status is going from a public persona to you are taking your private, rights back.
Are you talking about state national stuff?
It dovetails with that, but you don't need to do that. That's a whole nother. That could be a trap in some.
Crazy. Strap in. Some of this shit gonna get kind of
like
wild.
I haven't tolerated crazy. Come on, this is nothing.
The state nationals. I mean, Sarah, I was actually on panel a while back, and you said, "Oh, you're not saying anything." I was having a hard time kind of talking because I've actually gone through some bad stuff. My grandparents were literally on New Year's Eve day years ago murdered right near Disney. So I've gone through the trials, and I had to actually understand what was going on because it was driving me nuts. So the more I studied, the less I learned. I mean, the more you find out, the less you know. And I'm like, fuck. So it really intrigued me. And then I had a fucking uncle who, this asshole, worked as a Starkist Tuna CFO. Before that, he was above that in Del Monte as a CFO. So I started talking to him about the money, and he just ran shady on me. I'm like, you're my fucking uncle. We're from a Catholic family, and you're such an asshole. What? He's like, oh, if you figure it out, you'll be a billionaire, but don't talk to me. And just walked off. I'm like, you scumbag.
Well, I've heard a lot of that stuff about the state national stuff, and my question always is there a video or court case or anything out there that comprehensively lays it out how it's done? And has anyone ever used that and succeeded in any court case? Because I have yet to find that anywhere.
What I'm not a state national, and I've never used it, but what I've used in a court case, and I'll tell you straight up, is don't say guilty, don't say not guilty. You're innocent until proven guilty, and if you use the word innocent, they're just going to keep trying to go at you until you
enter a plea on your behalf.
Well, listen, when they try and put somebody, an attorney, to appear on your behalf, make sure you have a notice of liability right there with the case numbers and everything.
Scott, I'm sorry.
Shoot fire.
Before you drag in a little bit, Scott, he was asking, has anyone ever won a case that you know of? Because I ain't found one.
On won a case, they're not. Public record and private records are different. They're not going to publish when they lose.
Well, that's the issue with stuff like that, where you're trying to use paperwork, which is great if it works, but I've yet, and I do tons of research, man.
You ever hear when the case is sealed?
Right. So you're saying there are cases where that's followed through and they've gone all the way through. They just seal those cases.
They're not going to tell you the game if they leave that
out in the open. Dodging, Scott, you dodging, you jumping around, man.
All right. Okay. I thank you for that.
Yeah. This is great to me, man. Seeing my, John. Listen, Sarah. My philosophy changed when I met some people in here, not through the gate. It was different. Now I see things different. I credit 3 people with that. John is among them. And to see him hanging with my new people who I absolutely love, with my old people who I absolutely love, I'm kind of giddy like a kid, man. This is great. until Scott started
I
talking about the
literally
same
got out of the
soft
shower,
shit.
turned on YouTube, said, "Oh, I wonder who's live," and I'm like, "Is that fucking John Felix at Aging Tomato?" I'm like, "What is happening?"
That's what I'm saying.
The collab you never knew you needed.
I was so happy that Joe told me about you because I always say all the haters, let's have a debate. I always say it over and over, and they never, ever. So when Joe said that, holy crap, this is, I'm like, yeah, let's go.
By the way, and I, you know, of course, because I love what I do and I love the community that I'm involved in. While I'm up here, any of the quote unquote frauditor community who essentially calls us frauditors, I will gladly give up my spot at any point in time that they want to come up.
So they can
Any
rap
point
with
in time,
John.
please.
Yeah, I'll
please
jump
come.
down too. I'm here. I tell you, John, I do respect you. I watch your stuff, and I love your rings. Your art's fucking cool as shit.
I got one of those rings.
Do you?
Yeah, we
I-
encourage the frauditors.
I want one. I just don't want to give up one of my Morgans.
Garden State, welcome. You're new here. Are you part of the auditing community as well?
Yeah, I've been doing it for about a year, and I had the pleasure of going to Audipalooza for the first time at John's event in Florida. It was amazing. Got to meet all the cool auditors. And I was
got to meet I'm sorry, Vinny. I got to meet Vinny up in Leroy Truth. You know, I don't know if you know who he is, but he sponsored me. I went up to Jersey and Connecticut with them during the Brian Fahey debacle with Long Island Audit, and Vinny let me drive his car from New Jersey all the way to Groton, Connecticut. It was awesome meeting him. His channel is Garden State Accountability, and then his other friend is the Exposure Report and Leroy Truth, and they make up a tyranny response team.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
You talk too slow, Vinny. Sorry.
What are some kind of what are some kind of issues that you've run into more often in your, because you're in New Jersey, I'm in Maryland, so it's like, I know here on the East Coast we see a lot of issues.
You're in Maryland, so you're not too far from DC. So actually, me and Leroy Truth went to Washington, DC. We were just out there recording, and I ran into an issue recording at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, DC, and security said we couldn't record there.
Really?
And they said if we stopped recording, we'd be under arrest. So we left under threat of arrest. So just recording in public where everybody has their cell phone out, just because we had professional cameras, they said we couldn't record.
So go ahead, Joe.
I was gonna say, man, that sounds like, you know, that makes my mouth salivate. Right?
I
Shit
wonder
like
if they
that.
say that. Sorry, I wonder if they want you to do that because they can get into your phone and erase your data and shit.
It wasn't on my phone. I had I had a
No,
real
I'm
camera.
saying they want you to record on phones. They don't want you to have private fucking equipment that's high res because they can't get to that.
Yeah, the video's on my channel.
This shit's unconstitutional.
Does anybody hate me here? I really want to hit. I'm looking.
I know. I was just gonna say, like, is there anybody?
I got a question.
Go ahead.
I don't know
Duck.
you, but I'll
Leave
fight
it
you.
to Duck.
Yes,
It's Duck. Yeah, Duck is the guy that fights everyone too.
All right, let's
Not
go.
like Flo, but okay. So yeah, I just have a general question about what I would describe as a negative, complaining, adversarial, unproductive, an unproductive sort of attitude about government and about Leo. Like, I am not a big pro-government guy. I came up in, when I was, working in restaurants in college and stuff, I was a big into the punks. I like punk rock and stuff like that. But I also have a softer side, towards whatever people want to talk about. And so why would I listen or trust you if I know from the get-go everything I'm going to hear is negative toward the government?
Why should you trust me if everything
you hear is negative?
I see where he's going with that. So basically, if you're all like government bad, why should he trust you when, in his viewpoint, and correct me if I'm wrong, Duck, but the government has been here and is established and is doing all of these, I guess, in his viewpoint,
I think that's
fairly
exactly
good things.
I see good things. Yeah, it's good.
Like
Yeah.
what?
Social safety nets,
Snap.
welfare.
So okay. So does the government have to go by the Constitution or no?
Wow.
The
What?
government, the government does. So the government does go by the Constitution.
Okay. Are SNAP benefits a constitutional program, taking money from one citizen and giving it to another?
Yeah, that's constitutional.
It is. So it's taking money
I'm
from
very-
one citizen and giving it to
Hold on.
another.
Yeah, it's taxation. So if I'm anti-war, if I disagree with war, I'm not just anti-war. I'm a Buddhist pacifist, and so by your logic, what we should talk about, we should instead argue. You and I should debate common sense political beliefs, not about SNAP, but we should talk about F-16s. We should talk about Raptors.
What about
Let's
them?
talk about ordnance carry drones. I don't like them. I don't want them.
Me neither. Oh, I'm anti-war. Okay. The thing
So
is,
you're anti-taxes.
well, anti-unconstitutional taxes. Indirect apportioned taxes are fine. Direct.
I
So
agree.
you don't think we should tax to? So what you're telling me then that you're telling me that we shouldn't tax to buy military ordnance.
Enough to defend our.
That's
enough
not what
to
I said.
Defend America, not.
Well, we
to go on
disagree
the
about that.
offensive.
Let them get out
We
of
disagree
sentence
about
here
that.
and there, Doug.
What
Mhm.
happened?
I was
We
telling
just disagree
Doug,
about
let
that. I
you
think
finish
think
the sentence.
if I'm playing a Buddhist, if I'm playing a Buddhist on Sarah's panel, I don't think there's a minimal amount. The amount that's correct for me is 0, and that's a better conversation.
Oh, okay. So if we have zero, you're saying zero military?
Right? Yeah.
Okay. So how? So and then if another military wants to come take us over, they would just literally just walk on our shores and America.
Well,
would be
I just
over.
don't care. I just don't
Well,
care.
Then why
Wow.
would we listen to you?
I
That's
care
crazy.
about America.
Pacifist.
I care about our borders. I care about our national security. So thus, I want a big enough military so we can defend our borders,
Okay.
our country.
I got a question.
Yeah, that's
And
cool.
hold on. And we can
That's cool.
we can afford that through constitutional taxation. Go ahead.
I think, yeah, I
I don't
think it
think
should
so.
be.
It's unconstitutional. I just, again, just to close off that point and close that thread, I do think it. So my character would think it is unconstitutional to tax to buy military ordnance because I don't believe in it.
I
Correct.
think, I think,
That's not how you. That's not how you figure out what's
Right.
constitutional.
That's not what.
Right.
That's not what
Right.
constitutional law is. That's not what
Fifth
con law
Amendment-
is.
The Fifth
Let's
Amendment
hold on.
already
Pardon
clears.
me. We're gonna go one at a time. We're not just gonna all keep interrupting each other. So be mindful. Doc, I think you were finishing a thought there, and then El Perro, we can hand it over to you.
No, I'm done. That was a fun exchange. Thank you for answering.
I appreciate it, man. I really do.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your time.
Of course.
And I
Thanks.
think
Go
the
ahead.
Fourth and Fifth Amendment together prove that it's unconstitutional. Don't they say that you can only have it for military use, and that would require that it has to be preemptive? They can't just take it and say, okay, we're going to use it for military. They have to have a specific military use for it in order to then go to the Fourth Amendment and violate the people's right to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects.
I don't know about
Okay,
I do
right.
think that
Okay.
the taxes should be indirect.
That
Like
one?
you shouldn't be forced to be paying your income tax. You shouldn't be forced to pay your taxes on your home. It should be indirect taxes, like when you go to the store and you go buy whatever it is, clothing, shoes, what indirect. So the more you buy, the more you're taxed. It shouldn't be for
And if you don't want to pay that tax, you don't buy that product.
exactly. That's
So-
the way I believe it should be.
So would
And
that
that money
be-
should go to the
No,
military.
just so this doesn't get too inbred, and no offense, sorry for the derogatory term, but how does this not breed selective listening, right? That seems like, and it seems like, from my perspective, it seems like to get anything done and something done really well, it would be the case that we need to have like a crazy long conversation for simple simple talks if we're saying that the bar to tax people is to get them to go out of their homes, and now the government is coordinating how you go out of your homes via taxes. That sounds crazy.
That was going to
Well,
be
no,
my
that
next
happens. That happens naturally. People go out of their homes every day. Naturally, they have to. You have to go to your job. You have to go to the store. There's no forcing there. That's just
Yeah,
a
where's
natural act.
government coordination and just
It's
people
always
listening?
it's always been that way. It's always been that way because that we had the Boston Tea Party, no taxation without representation, right? We were being taxed on tea without representation,
Who's
right?
we? Who's we?
We the
I'm not a
people.
person.
We
You're
you're not
I'm not
you're
the
not
type
an
of
American
person that
citizen?
doesn't pay
Are you
taxes.
not an
I'm
American
not the type
citizen?
of person that doesn't pay
We the
taxes.
people?
One at a
What do you
time, guys.
mean?
Yeah.
But what do you actually mean by we had a Boston Tea Party?
We
Are,
the
are
people.
we saying we ideologically had a Boston Tea Party in
It's
order
we,
to
you,
use
us,
push
and
on
the country
taxes?
that was
I'm not
founded
that
out
type
of it, you
person.
dense
Doc, hold on. Doc, I think it's
Okay.
pretty apparent what we means, right? We as in U.S. citizens, Americans. I mean, we even say that now. Even John here has it standing very proudly behind himself. We the people. That is what we means. We
Aren't we
citizens
the
of the United States.
posterity
Hold
of
on,
we
not
the
now.
people?
They're
Yes.
still talking.
And but by the way, John, earlier you were saying that taxes are voluntary. They're by consent. What
Direct.
happens is once you sign up and pay tax, then you're under contract, and that's where they fuck you.
Yes, sir. I see where you're coming from.
It's all contract. Everything when you go into court is contract law.
I know.
They're running the boat.
Trust me, I know all this stuff that you're talking about, but there's zero documented evidence that it's ever worked. No offense.
The problem is they're not going to let you out of there with the fucking scorecard.
How do you know they exist then?
Yeah.
Very
I
good.
have very good authority of it.
Let's
Just
go
go
back to
talk
the
to
other
some
stuff.
bondsmen. They know it.
Is it one of them you can't name it kind
Give
of
them the
things
link.
where they're come and get you?
Unless we all know your particular friend, where I left out of the conversation.
Well, no, it's not really
So-
a conversation. Everybody is individual, and you're literally talking about a system that goes from county to county, from city to city, state to state, and every line is different contracts and different rules. So depending on who you are with and what rules you're playing by, and who you can get to play on your side and let some stuff go, you're just playing a fucking game that is the rich man's game. They're not
We
telling
all
people
agree
how to
with
play.
that
None
part.
of them let this documentation out.
I like that. I like the critique of rich people, but I also think it's unfair to place blame or problems to people who aren't equipped to solve those same exact problems.
They've
What
been
does that
doing it for
mean?
millennia.
Who is equipped
Who
to
is it?
solve those problems?
Yeah. What are you talking about there?
Well, who's they? Who's they that have been doing it for millennium?
The
And
bankers,
who's
I would
equipped to
say
solve
Yeah,
when
the
those
bankers,
problems?
like John was
Is-
talking about the whole time.
I
That
would say
question,
it's
to
the
me, that
banks.
question
If
is
we
specified
could
in the Constitution.
One at a time, please. And I'm going to take a moment to take a brief commercial break for
Let's
Clay.
go.
You promised Mama Tomato you would yodel today.
I did. I did.
I hope you've gotten
That's
better.
Brick Jonesy, is it
bruh.
not? Aren't you Brick? Yeah.
Yeah.
You got like 20 different names, bro.
Yeah, but we
You
know
wanna
him by his
save it?
yodel.
Do you want to save the yodel for later, Clay?
Oh,
No, I'm
come
gonna
on,
go ahead
let's
and get it out
When
of
we
the
get
way.
into degen mode?
Actually, that might save the panel if I do that. But no, I'll go ahead and give you one.
Get it. Want a beatbox?
Sure. Go. I was playing.
All
Yod.
Clay, you always get so shy when you're in the
What
moment.
the fuck, bro? Yodel in the valley. Let's go.
That's what Mama said.
Oh god. Yodely, yodely.
John's laugh is
Yeah.
the best.
Get him off.
John, you have the best laugh.
Boo.
You.
Boo.
Yeah.
Hey, no pressure.
Turn off your camera. It'll help.
I'm not supposed
Just
to turn
close your eyes. We're not here.
Picture
Pretend you're in the
tent and his
shower.
underwear.
Everybody's watching you.
Can't do
Lord.
it.
You.
Bro, this is your big shot and you're blowing it.
At least you're not putting him on
I'm
the spot.
absolutely blowing this.
It's for Mama. It's for Mama.
Just don't laugh. Get it out.
She hates
Do it
it.
for
You
Mama.
ruined her day.
You.
Oh, fail. All
I
right,
failed.
we'll save
I'll get it
for
later. I'll get it later.
You owe Mama a yodel later. And on
Oh,
that note,
bro.
gentlemen, I'm just gonna step away to use the
Give
ladies'
them their
room.
$5 back.
Jason will be all right. He knows Clayton's good for it.
Oh,
I'm going to step away and use the ladies' room. If you could all just behave for a whole 2 minutes, and I'll be right back. But in the meantime, I do have Shadow still hanging backstage. In order to bring Shadow up on stage, you have to boot somebody off screen to get him up here. On that note, I'll leave it to you, John, to lead the course.
Duck, come back, Duck.
I don't know.
I'm here. I just got my meme face on.
So what were you saying a second ago about, I don't know, something about military?
No, because okay, no, I wasn't talking about military stuff. If you guys see, so let's say you and I are talking, right? We're private citizens, and we see that the wealthy seem to control a lot of society. Like that is something that I could talk about with you guys. You guys could talk about that with me. And one of the reasons is not because I have a deep attachment to to a bigger house. Yeah, bigger house or my basketball card collection. I don't want their money. But I do have an attachment to how society uses resources, right? Like I care about how we use resources. That's one of the reasons why we tax things. We subsidize land as far back as since we got to the United States, since the Pilgrims, basically.
So, okay, so you think taxation is a legitimate thing the government does? All of it? All the taxation the government does, you believe is legitimate?
Yeah, and taxation has been since prior to the Roman Empire too. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Taxation has been, been going on for a long time, but I don't agree that I should pay 22% of taxes out of my paycheck and then have to pay property taxes and then have to be taxed on the things that I buy. I'm being taxed 50, if not 60% of what I make that goes to the government. That's too much.
But why do I have to put up with? To me, that sounds like a feeling and a political belief. I don't know why I need to hear your feelings.
Okay, so it's not.
I just want to know your political belief.
Somebody earned. If I earn $100 and you take $40 of it, where did you get that authority?
Well, did you give me the authority via social contract?
No, I didn't sign the social contract. As a matter of fact,
you don't want elected.
I'm sorry.
So you don't want elected. So you don't want elected representatives. You don't want magistrates.
You
don't want. You don't want the basic stuff we figured out in year 1700.
I want a representative who abides by their oath to the Constitution, and all the things you're talking about can get done constitutionally without unconstitutional taxes or violence being threatened upon the American people.
Because from my perspective, that's not about the Constitution, though. That is you saying I have a feeling about a Constitution. If I start with what a Constitution is, one of the essential things a Constitution is outline the procedures to levy taxes.
Right, constitutional taxes. That's the key part.
That's not a thing. You're making up words now. No, you are making up words.
You just said it. You just said it.
Whoa,
you're the one that
making up a word. Hold on.
What are you talking about?
I made up a word.
What are you talking about?
Constitutional taxes is a made-up word.
I don't know what a constitutional tax is.
Indirect apportion. Indirect apportion taxes are constitutional. Corporate taxes, taxes on gains are constitutional.
So constitutional taxes is not a word. What you're talking about is different, and it's outlined in the Constitution, right?
Right. Indirect.
So you're
apportioned.
Okay. So you disagree with
in several Supreme Court cases following it.
Okay, and so you provided your reason why. So because it's not in the original, so everything in the original Constitution is what you believe then?
No, the current Constitution says,
and why can't we do income tax?
Because it's
Explain
unlawful.
that to me.
Because it's unlawful.
It's not. It's not. If we do income tax, it's not unlawful. When was the right to? We can look
Doc,
this up.
I don't believe
income
Title
taxes,
26.
United States legal.
Go back like 10 seconds, man. I'm sorry. Somebody interrupted you.
Precedent.
They implemented it less than 100 years ago.
94, the Wilson Gorman or something. I don't know this stuff. I could look it up, but So if Congress passed this Income Tax Act, it seems like we've had 100 years of people who agree. It seems like there was probably 100 years before that where people thought, yeah, income taxes are a good idea. And so why am I not talking to someone about their feelings?
I'm sorry. You think the American people believe that 20-some% of their check gets taken from them and they agree with it, and they've agreed with it for 100 years and probably 100 years before that? So
it's under false pretenses.
Hold on.
It's not
Hold
just
on.
Americans. It's not just
Hold on one
Americans. It's
second.
it's everyone who lives in any state anywhere.
Duck, but you're just wrong. Let him
Hold
teach
on,
you
Doc.
something.
Yeah.
I haven't paid
let
taxes
him
in 20 years. It ain't me.
go.
They
Go
weren't
ahead,
even established
John.
till World War II.
Well,
and it was
why would
supposed
I
to be
do?
temporary.
Why?
Let's let
Why would I do that?
John explain it to Duck. Duck, quiet for a while. Everyone else, shut the
So
fuck
if
up.
we had a vote right now, we voted. Every American had a vote right now, and they said, keep income tax or get rid of it. You honestly believe the majority would vote for their money to be stolen from their paycheck?
That's
That
a
is a
legitimate question.
batshit delusional belief. That is batshit insane.
What is?
What you just said. That is a delusional
That people
belief.
would vote for their money to be taken from their paycheck? They would vote for that? You believe if there was a referendum, a nationwide vote, that people would say, yes, please take in 20?
I don't
please
think
take my money?
I think either you have failed to consider your own belief, or you are expecting me to do like we've done for the entire time I've been on this panel now. Sorry to be frustrated, but expect me to go through and outline your argument and what you need to sort of bring to the table and what you're allowed to be wrong with.
My argument is simple. There is no law that requires an American citizen living and working within the United States
That's not
to pay a tax on their labor. There's
But
no
it's
law.
not
The
fucking
IRS hasn't
true.
produced-
It isn't fucking true.
What's that?
It isn't fucking true. I just looked it up.
You want to bet a year's pay? You want to bet a year's pay that you can't find that law?
No, because I don't fucking know.
Okay,
who you
have
are
a nice
either.
day then. Then have a nice
Yeah,
day.
suck a dick. Suck a dick.
Hey, hold on.
Stop. Hold, let me allow me to interrupt. Jason Reeves has sent $100 on Buy Me a Coffee app to say the dang slackers. Give Mama a credit for tonight. Mama, you have $100 full boot to utilize at your leisure. Compliments of Jason Reeves. Just tag me or text me and let me know what you'd like to do with it and when. Thank you. All right, Duck, you need to calm down a little bit. I know you get worked up, buddy. I know you get really excited, and we're trying to work through the information, but you also have to be willing to accept the information that's being handed to you. I see you, Joe. Joe's having
This is
some
really
perspective.
patronizing.
That's hilarious.
She's really patronizing you, Duck. You gonna let her get away with that?
Yes, he is, because he knows he
hey,
doesn't
guys.
have a choice.
Yeah,
Mama's got
I don't
one in
mind.
the
I don't
trigger.
mind if John, Sarah, if John wants to spend time where the bottom of his rabbit hole for his argument to convince people is this Duck guy gets angry, then go for it, John. I'll be the angry guy on panel. Congratulations.
Duck, where do you
Everything
live?
you said is incoherent
Duck.
and does not
When did I
comport
say
to
this guy
reality.
I'm sorry, but a lot of you
crazy.
are very familiar with how this panel works. I know some people are new here, but all of the constant interruptions do not help anyone. And Paulie Glocks over on John's side has affirmed that we are getting the yodel and less government. Spit it out now. No fuck ups.
Yodelay yee-hoo, yodelay yee-hoo. Yodelay, yodelay, yodelay yee-hoo.
Bring Duck back on, please.
Fair enough. And welcome
All
to
right.
your new membership, Jennifer.
Can I
Go
say
ahead.
something real fast?
Absolutely.
All right, so the New Jersey Turnpike in New Jersey, they implemented a toll system, right? It was to pay for the roads to be initially built, right? They said they were going to stop the tolls, because that's a tax,
They
to
never
drive on the roads when the roads were paid for. They didn't stop the tolls on the roads. Now they're using that money for schools and such like that. We didn't sign up for that. We didn't sign up for that. Now, a lot of these taxes are implemented under false pretenses. They say they're going to do something and do another. So, I mean, that's the way I see it.
Can I say? So I'm trying to figure
Could-
out what got
John
him
first. No,
because all I
I'm
said
really
was-
quick. This is
Well,
Ken.
hold on, Ted. Hold on, Ted.
All I
Let Ted
said
talk.
was, if we had a national vote, do you believe the majority of people would vote for money to be taken from their paycheck? And he said that was batshit crazy. Like, what's batshit crazy about that? Would any of you vote for your money being taken from your paycheck, or is
Absolutely
that
not.
crazy?
I would
vote
not.
for my mother's paycheck to be taxed. I would go to the top of the Himalayas and scream it.
And you're probably
My
the
opinion
exception.
is my mother's paycheck should be, and you keep saying I'm the exception, but wherever you have made it to, I've never been there. It seems like some alien universe that you're on, John.
Where?
Maybe
That's
maybe
just
I'm wrong.
emotion,
I don't know.
Duck. That's
Do you
just
believe
emotion,
a guy can
bro.
walk up to someone in the park and point a gun at them and take their money from them and give it to somebody else that needs it more?
I haven't been asked that question ever in my life, John.
Well, you know
What
it's
that
illegal,
got
right?
to do with any
You know it's
fucking
illegal,
thing?
right?
I'm
You know
sorry.
that's illegal, right?
To
point a gun at someone.
I'd have to see it in the law. I'd have to see it in the
Give you
law.
$20
Yeah.
and then you take that 20 and you give it to the person next to him who needs it more. Is that legal or illegal?
I've never been asked that, so I just don't know. I'd
Is
have to
robbery
Google
legal
it.
or illegal? Come on, bro.
I'd
Is robbery
have to
legal
use
or
Grok.
illegal?
I'd
I
have to
will
use
say
Grok.
You're Gantz.
guys-
You're
you guys-
fucking Gantz.
No, that was bad.
Hold on, you guys.
Oh,
Hold on, you
come
guys.
on.
So
know that Duck is actually the only opposition here, so try to give him a little bit of time. I'm full in support of what you guys are saying. I look at this situation and go, okay, yeah, taxation in these manners are simply just stupidity if you go
Illegal.
along with it. But Duck is the opposition, so
He's been given a lot of grace. I agree with you, Brick, but he's been
IRS
given a
literally-
lot of
Yeah,
grace.
he has.
Fair enough.
He has
Fair
been bringing the line.
Sorry,
a little
guys. I'll
high.
stop
haven't cut him off.
interrupting too. You guys
Sarah,
get to
can
have
I-
your conversation just because I'm here. It's very rude of me to do otherwise.
Sarah, can I ask the panel?
Actually,
question?
Duck, I think most questions would be directed your way if you just ease back a little bit.
There's-
and
Yeah, I
answer
think
our
There's a
You can answer
simple-
questions.
robbery is illegal or illegal.
All right, gentlemen.
Robbery is unlawful. I mean, if we can't get that, if we can't establish that stealing somebody's money at gunpoint is illegal, then what conversation are we having here? And I'm batshit crazy. Is robbery lawful or unlawful?
What
And
is
I
it
dropped
like?
a link. And
I
dropped
still,
a
I don't.
link
What
in
is
the
it like
back
to rob
showing-
someone though?
If you
And I
answer that,
dropped-
I'll explain it to you. Can you
You're
answer that?
dodging.
I don't know what it's like to be
Okay,
honest.
cool.
That was
You're
not the
serious.
question.
This guy's not serious.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
not the question anyway.
Scott, you wanted to add something in. Let's go that direction.
Title 26. Does anybody know what that is? It's the
Yeah, it's the
IRC.
Internal Revenue Code, which I've read
Right.
cover to cover. Go ahead.
Okay, is there a definition of income tax in that?
No, there's
Ironically,
not.
there's not.
No.
Is there an enactment clause in it? And was it ever enacted as statutory law?
No.
No.
Wasn't.
Voluntary
So
compliance.
is it? Yes, there. That's exactly the point. It is
even
not
tells
law. It's not positive law. It's not fucking law. It's
Nothing.
contract when you sign it and you're fucked.
You're volunteering.
And
Exactly.
Doug,
Yeah.
That's
and
it.
Duck,
So-
as your social contract argument, Duck, if it's a contract, you know how I know it is. There's a way out. I can get out of the contract. I can end the
Also-
contract. Hold on. And what contract has me working 24 hours a day? I'm on duty 7 days a week, every day of my life. No one would sign up for that contract if that's the contract that you're
And
talking
also,
about.
and
But Joe, you're
the other way to
God.
have a
You're God
legitimate-
about
No,
this.
John was talking
God
first.
about this.
Hold on.
Doc.
Let me stop. A lot of you are very aware of how these panels operate, and a lot of you are very aware that I don't like the constant interruptions. Stop it. All of the little one-word things you're adding in, or the like blah blah blahs of whatever nonsenseness, all it does is neutralize everybody else's voices, and then we can't hear anybody of what they're saying. So shut the fuck up, unless you actually have something to add in instead of a one-liner hoo-ha. Shut the fuck up.
Very
Thank you.
good. Very good.
Okay, that includes you, Joe.
All right. I'm proud of you, though.
John, and let me say, John, you are the guest. You have every right to utilize this speaking time and say whatever the fuck you want, whenever the fuck you want. So anybody else, if John's talking, your mouth is quiet. Thank you.
Social contracts are nonsense. People who bring up social contracts, there's no such thing. That's again, that goes back to what we were saying earlier. De facto, widely accepted yet illegitimate. I don't accept illegitimate. Sorry. I don't accept someone pointing a gun at me and taking my money and giving it to someone else. It's called robbery. It's illegal. It's illegal when you do it. It's illegal when the government does it. Things don't change because you become a government. Okay. You still can't use violence and coercion and threats and duress against somebody and say, because I'm government, now it's not robbery anymore. It's still robbery. That's why indirect taxes, you have an option to pay. Constitutional taxes are taxes against gains and corporate gains. It's not, I'm going to tax my mother because of my feelings. You're literally working on feelings. I'm going by constitutional law. And the fact that there is zero law that says Americans living and working in the United States have to pay a tax on their labor. The people who do have to pay a tax on their labor is outlined in Title 26, Section 861, T-2 through T-14. And guess who's not on that list? Americans who live and work within the United States. If an American gets his income from outside the United States, it's taxable. If a person working out lives outside the United States and gets their income from within the United States, it's taxable.
John, I got a question for you. We've been doing the tax shit a while. I got a question for you, John.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Sarah asked this, but I think this might kick something off. Should I be required to have a driver's license,
No.
and why or why not?
Well, driver's license is just a slave card that they use against you as much as they can. I was telling her earlier, you probably weren't here, but there should be a mandatory 2-3 week course that teaches every person who wants to drive in America has to take this course and pass it. And once you pass that course, now you're a free American. Go be free and travel.
But John, the law says I must carry a driver's license and present it when I break a traffic rule.
That's called a code, the traffic code, and it's nonsense. It's unconstitutional.
How would we know who has taken the course?
I'm sorry.
That's what I was asking earlier, because then it kind of brings you actually back around to the idea of a driver's license to have proof that, oh, well, I passed that test.
Right.
Then, okay, well, that's yeah. But in the essence, wouldn't that just kind of lead us back down the same road of having a driver's license?
No. Here's my certificate, officer. Okay. We're past that part. Now this is what you did.
Well,
Is your certificate and the driver's license the same thing?
No.
In our example here?
Can I say something? We don't need a driver's license to ride a bike, right? But we can still drive a bike. You were taught how to ride a bike by probably your parents, and you ride that bike down the road. It should be the same. It should be the same way with a car, in my opinion. I do have a driver's license. I know it can be dangerous, but riding a bicycle can be dangerous. People riding
to you,
I
to
agree.
the driver, but you're not endangering other people with a bicycle.
You can. You definitely can.
Hypothetically, in theory, you can, but
that's the thing. It's always a safety argument, and they always use safety. And sure, if they followed the argument that it's for safety and they only used it for safety, but every single time you give them this much, that's why they say freedom is theory.
the fact of the matter is that driving a bike just affects you. If you want to front brake and flip over your handlebars, then that's your prerogative. When you're driving, when you're driving half a ton of steel at 100 miles an hour, that's a little bit of a different deal.
That's different. We're talking about commercial
driver's licenses instead of driver's licenses.
Pardon me for just a moment. Jason has sent money to boot, and he has requested, Dusty, you get to pick who to boot.
Don't boo Duck, please.
Do it to me. I won't be mad.
But
I won't be mad either. So
no, I'm gonna kick Joe Cool out. Get the fuck out of here, Joe Cool.
Hang backstage, Joe. I'm sure somebody's gonna pay to bring you back up later.
Mr. Dusty, does having that plastic card in your wallet make you safer?
Friends shouldn't kick friends.
No, no, it doesn't. But it does. It does. This how is that different from a certificate of course passing?
The difference is you don't get points on your certificate. You're not tracked and traced through your certificate. You're not punished by the court through child support. They use it for everything but safety. We understand that, right?
Is your driver's license or your social and your name? Like that's the driver's license is just another way of IDing. It's not the mechanism.
What's the first thing a cop says to you when he before he even says, "Hey, how are you?"
Yeah, but he's trying to identify you.
Can I ask a question?
Why do you think that is?
You just asked for something else because he wants to search for warrants.
Polly.
So is he worried about your safety, or is he trying to fuck you up and hem you up? And
he's trying to fuck you up. Yeah, no, he's trying to fuck you up for sure.
So what is it? So what do they use the license for? The majority of the time is to hurt you.
Right, but that's because they're incentivized to hurt you. It's not because a driver's license is inherently worse than a driver's certificate.
Actually,
they won't be able to do the same things. There would be no database. There would be no license plate. There would be no court holding the child support. It doesn't make you any safer to have this plastic card renewed all the time. It's used against you.
I did think that the driver's licenses were supposed to be used for commerce purposes only.
Yes. Exactly.
In Iowa, they're listed under the administrative code, and it specifically says on state business.
Yeah. Commerce.
Allow me to interrupt, gentlemen, for just a moment. Paulie, over here, it's $10 to boot, and you have to match the same amount that you booted to revive. So Jason sent the 10. So I see your 5, but it'll be another 5 to bring Joe Cool back. And you personally get to pick who you're booting off. So let me know who you want to boot to bring Joe Cool back. But you do have to send another 5.
John, isn't the license under the guise of the Motor Vehicle Theft Prevention Program? The driver's license
is just another control mechanism, racketeering scheme that they've dreamt up.
But it's over.
control the
They
American
literally
people.
are trying to check you to see if you're stealing cars. It's under the guise of
No,
registration
it's
and tags and stuff. Is under
It's
the
one
guise
of
of
the
Motor
things they
Vehicle
do, yeah.
Theft Prevention.
The majority used for license plates, the government uses for license plates and a license, they use it against you. That's what the majority of it is used for.
100%.
I'm just describing what law they actually
you
use.
wanted-
And that alone is enough to abolish the driver's license and license plates. And whoever
If
is
you
Isn't
wanted-
MAGA right now?
is
Isn't-
against
isn't-
American freedom.
Isn't MAGA
you-
right now? Isn't the Trump administration
I wish I had
seeking
chosen
to
you,
further
Doug.
restrict?
Nobody on here is going to be Trump or
Well,
MAGA. Dude.
Hold on.
Shut
I
the
want to hear what
fuck
Doug's
up.
saying, please. Go ahead. Say that again,
Well,
sir.
isn't Donald Trump? Isn't he? Donald Trump is further. Donald Trump is further restricting. What's it called? License permissions for immigrants. So he's putting more pressure on DMVs and state regulatory agencies.
Okay. Okay. What are you
Yeah.
What are you saying? Do I agree with Donald Trump?
Yeah. Well,
No,
I mean,
he's
the way I
fucking
see
horrible.
it is
No,
he's
he's
making
horrible. Just like every
your
president.
problem worse.
No president follows the Constitution in my lifetime. The one person we had that was a constitutionalist, the media buried him, even though he had more support than anybody, and they ran him out. Ron Paul. Other than him, we haven't had a constitutional president. They're all war criminals. They all violate their oath. They all pass unconstitutional laws, and they sign them into law. So until we get a Ron Paul or a Thomas Massey or a Rand Paul in office, you're going to get the same garbage that we have now.
Rand Paul is a
And-
psychopath. Ron Paul
Okay.
was good.
And
Rand Paul
Doc,
is a psychopath.
Doc, they've sent
Sounds
you
better.
to the back. Just hang backstage.
Excuse-
Well, hopefully, someone will bring you back up and bring in Joe Cool.
You said
back
I'm a
up in your
psychopath, so
stead.
I mean,
Shadow, did you? Oh, where'd you go, Joe? Are you back there? Yeah. Shadow, did you have some more thoughts to add in?
Yeah, I was actually wondering about the whole driver's license thing. I mean, we take a test for it, right? So, I mean, isn't that kind of like a certificate of, hey, you belong behind the wheel? That's kind of how I see it. I mean, a mechanism to control you. I could see how they could track you with it and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, it is a way to identify who is in compliance with the law, like a state ID. Let's say you wanted to go to a bar, have a drink. We have rules against certain things. So if we have certain mechanisms in place to help enforce those rules without applying force, I think that's a good thing. And taxes aren't necessarily bad, but I mean, they have a purpose. So all we need to do is go back to, our articles, the original articles. Article 2 through 5 gets forgotten. You know what I'm saying?
I will say this. I mean, driver's licenses, yeah, maybe they're beneficial, maybe they are good for safety, and then the registrations to know what cars are what. But the line is drawn where the police are tracking your every move. You have flock cameras at every single traffic light. Every move you make, every place you go, the police can watch you at any given moment, and that's where the line is drawn for me.
So
Garden State, can I ask you, Garden State, if I'm going down a road stated speed limit of 55, I'm doing 65. What, if anything, should be my punishment?
Nothing.
Well, you should still be able to get a fine.
No.
Why not?
Who's the victim? Who's the victim of that crime?
Who's the victim?
Who's the plaintiff?
Well, I really haven't thought about that question. You know what I mean? I mean, I speed all the time. Should I get a fine? I mean, maybe I'm just used to getting the fine, and that's why I think you should get a fine.
I know we're used to it, but it's still illegitimate. If there's no plaintiff, who's the injured party?
John, I think you were speeding in my car.
Absolutely.
What?
I think you got to get a ticket, bro. I'm sorry,
I
bro.
was maxing out all the gears too. Why
I
didn't
know.
I
actually have
First
a
gear,
serious,
second
I have
gear,
a serious
turpin third.
argument on this one. Okay, so let's say grandma's doing 1 mile and over in a 70. She's doing 71. Yeah, we all would agree that essentially an officer definitely should what are you doing, dude? Giving grandma a ticket. But let's say that you're doing 70 and a 25 in my neighborhood where children are playing.
Okay, that's endangerment. So, like I
Okay.
said, if there's a victim, damages, trespass, or endangerment, then it's illegal.
I would also say DUI, 100%.
Endangerment again.
As long as there's no
says,
endangerment. If you can drive properly while having drinks, no, you shouldn't be bothered.
Ramella says Article 1, Section 8 is the base of this conversation. Can somebody tell me what that is?
That's the Congress has
Clause
the ability to
17.
lay taxes, but the problem there is they still have to be constitutional taxes. It doesn't mean anything they want, or else we'd have a 99% tax rate. They have to be constitutional.
Clause 17 kind of fucking wraps that up.
So in that case, really, I'm looking at the endangerment. That's kind of wrapped up in what's called exigent circumstances.
Yes.
Kinda, yeah.
Right.
If everyone's doing 25 miles an hour and you go 75 miles an hour and start with, you're obviously endangering the public. And sure, a cop should stop you and say, you're endangering the public. What the F are you doing? We're going to court. But if someone's driving in a straight line and they're going 10 over, who gives a flying F? At that point, no one's in danger. No one's safety's in jeopardy. Cars can do 100 miles an hour, no problem. It's made up fallacy so they could steal more money from you. It's not enough all the money they steal from your paycheck. It's not enough all the taxes they steal from you. People still say, yes, please, guys with guns, stop us on the side of the road when we haven't done anything to anyone and steal more of our money under threat. And if you resist, we'll take your life. That's not America. That's not
what you need to do instead of just changing the tool like the driver's license is you need to disincentivize the robbery. There's a conflict of interest if the police get to keep the money that they seize or tax, right?
Civil asset forfeiture. Yeah.
Civil asset forfeiture. I mean, even just if you take the incentive for the enforcers out of the enforcement action, that would undermine the incentive right there. But as it is, there's a conflict of interest, I think.
If I may, if they really cared about people speeding and safety, why would cars be allowed to go faster than 70 miles an hour? None of it's real. It's all an illusion.
Well,
It's an illusion.
Well,
They
hold
just want-
on, but
they
guys
wanna-
like to go zoom. You guys
Yes,
like
we
bigger,
do.
faster, stronger. Hey, let's just see how much I can push this. I mean, that's just that's.
if you're not
I
endangering the
I
public,
find that
go
to
for it.
be typical. Like men want to do that. That's why we have rockets that go zoom up into space, and that's why
Did
we
you
have
hear-
cars that go faster and faster and faster. You know.
I just want to say something about
we're
car
allowed to go
safety.
to the track too.
What's
Did
that?
you guys hear that they're trying to implement cars that have speed limits, like that are governed in by like GPS? Did you try?
Yep.
Did you hear that?
It's the law now.
Driving is
It's
gonna
the
be
law.
illegal. Driving,
But we're also allowed to go to the track too, right? And so if I build a car that goes faster than, the normal speed limit, even the fastest speed limit, which is typically
Didn't-
70, 75.
didn't the speed limit thing-
Some places it's 80. I can still take that same car that I drive on the road and I can take it to the track.
Hey, Sarah, can I ask Flow State a question or two? Because he was a banker, and this is just a big banker's game. And literally everything you fucking put your name on, they're going to securitize. If you sign it, they securitize it. So because the money is bullshit, fugazi, fiat currency, we're literally pushing debt off in the future. And you asked a question earlier, like, how come we're in so much debt? It's because they print the principal out into the fucking circulation, but never the interest. So we're just compounding the interest.
Yeah, John knows
For
more about
years.
this. John knows a lot about this. They
Good
just keep
for
printing the
power.
money.
It's a bullshit game of let's take America away from the people, which is the posterity. We aren't the people who signed that shit. We are the posterity of the people.
I'm still confused on how what I said was batshit crazy. That if we had a vote on the income tax, why is that?
That's dead on. Everybody runs.
No,
from
you're
that
right
shit.
in that. Yeah.
Who in the world would vote for? Please take 20-some%. Okay, like
There's
I
a
don't
few
understand
chickens
why-
with
you
their
said
heads
you would
cut
do
off.
it.
You don't see anybody volunteering more of their check, like, oh, we don't have enough income tax.
There's a few ducks with their heads cut off too.
And that's why we don't use a popular vote for making such decisions, because people just vote in their self-interest.
Right.
That's what people vote in, anyways.
Well, I
Yes,
think it
but
would.
with
I think it would.
representatives, there's a bit
I
more
think-
control.
Well, I
But
think it
that
would.
doesn't mean it's pointed in a better direction or it's any more concern for the benefit of the group. It just means that fewer people have self-interest.
Well, I
part of
think a vote like that would draw a larger voting crowd for the impoverished voting for their own interests. That no, we don't want taxes.
Let me
I
tell
It
you,
doesn't
vote
matter. It's an inefficient system. We can't make every major economic decision in this country hinge on a popular vote. Nothing would ever get done.
I'm
It
not
would be-
suggesting that we could.
Well, it depends on what we're
No,
voting
could.
on.
I'm not
Felix
suggesting
over there
we could.
thinks that we should just decide everything by whatever is 51%.
who
That's
said
just
that?
communism. You did earlier.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
When?
You said 51% of people would vote against income tax. No shit. But we have this thing called the welfare clause, okay? It allows the government to collect money from us to do its work.
So
Oh my
you need
God.
you need,
the
somebody
common
to
welfare. So
make
the
your
common
decisions
welfare
for you.
clause makes the rest of the Constitution invalid. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's part of the Constitution. Try reading it.
Right. Yeah, I have.
I
Many
don't
I have it in my
think so.
hand right now.
So even though there's no law that says you have to pay income tax, you believe that there still is a law, or what are you saying?
There's a law that requires you to pay income
Can you
tax.
go ahead, Google it real quick, and then let me know what it is.
Jesus.
Somehow they arrest people for not paying it, right?
Yeah, right.
Also,
It
did you
just
see that the
happens, I guess.
IRS employees owe more taxes than the American people?
Cops arrest us for filming on the
Okay.
sidewalk. That doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean there's not an income tax law.
Well, you hurry up and Google it, brother.
Title
we're here.
26.
Yep, that's the Internal Revenue Code. Now go ahead and tell me. Look at 861
Hold on, somebody's mic is underwater. I got to figure out who's got it going on. Oh, no.
By the way, the IRS itself will not provide the law that says Americans have to pay an income tax.
Major Lee, I think it's yours. I don't know what kind of feedback's coming in on your end, but it was definitely once you muted, it stopped. Just so you know.
Got his team headset. That's why. I wrote.
All right, back to Ant.
Okay.
26.
I'm on my phone. Could that be the issue?
Hold on just a second. Let's run through these logistics. Major Lee, yeah, I'm not sure if it's like do you have a headset on, or is your audio feeding the wrong thing? Something's off on your end. Maybe why don't you jump out and back?
No,
in,
it's
we'll
my.
get you back.
All right.
Okay. Oh, he had a delay too. Okay, yeah, we'll try it.
My income tax argument is fully based on the Constitution and not a majority vote. The only reason I brought up that referendum is because he said I was batshit crazy thinking that Americans would vote for money to be stolen from their paycheck. That's ridiculous. The constitutional argument is,
but it's a dumb argument. You ask the people, hey, if we gave away free gold, would you be in favor of that? Yeah, a lot of people would vote for that. Like that doesn't mean anything. Just to say that if you asked 10 children if it's okay to have tapioca pudding for dinner that night, I bet all of them are going to say yes. It doesn't mean it's good for them. It doesn't mean it's what we should be feeding them for dinner.
But my main
that's why we have a leadership hierarchy to make
my main
at that
point
level.
was that it's unconstitutional to begin with.
I agree.
Yeah.
And didn't they only implement the income tax after the Great Depression just to help boost the economy?
No.
1913
was the income tax. 1929 was the Great Depression.
World War II.
Yeah, it was the 16th Amendment where they took the apportionment away from the state and just allowed the government to levy a income tax across the board.
That's what they say, but there's been several Supreme Court cases that say the 16th Amendment gave no new power of taxation to the Congress. So the same power they had before the 16th is the same power they had after the 16th Amendment. I used to be able to cite all these cases because this is what started me in activism to begin with. But Eisner versus McCumbry is one, and Baltic mining, Baltic versus Stanton mining or something. Income tax is a tax on gains, profit, corporate taxes,
investments.
Yes.
Your words are
Operations.
Higher. Amanda's words is higher.
So I mean, with the taxation though, how do you break away from that, aside from just saying like I'm not going to pay and I have to go to court to figure out how to go to court? Is there a way in which the nation as a whole could just get rid of it?
Yeah, so
Like,
less
could-
government is more government.
Abolish it. Abolish
Yeah.
it.
Less government is more government.
Sarah, I think it's individual. I think what I told you earlier about notice and opportunity to cure, you have to put them on notice. And it is that Administrative Procedures Act. Literally, you have to send them notification. You have that. Tell them to rebut it. If they don't rebut it, then you can put it on and for the record as law. But it's only going to pertain to you and anybody you show it to. They're not going to publish it. I promise you.
So outside
How do
of
we
that,
know it's there,
outside of that,
Scott?
you'd have to
Do
elect-
it.
Outside of that, you'd have to elect constitutional candidates, and they have to actually take the Constitution seriously. So that means we have to learn it too. Most
How do you know they
Americans
take
rule
the
it.
Constitution seriously? Like, we already do that. That's what we do in elections. But
I mean,
It's not-
the ATF is explicitly unconstitutional.
Politicians obey their oath.
Huh?
Stop.
Politicians obey their oath.
I'm not going to say this again. Gentlemen, you all know to just wait until somebody's finished saying whatever the fuck they're saying, and then you can talk. Stop interrupting. Thank you. Back to you, John.
I thought I was interrupting.
No, Dusty was. Dusty was.
Sarah, you're a
You.
tough cookie.
So, I mean, no, there's no politician outside of Ron Paul in my lifetime that actually obeys their oath to the Constitution. Just because they got elected don't mean they follow the Constitution. They believe.
I didn't say that.
They pass unconstitutional laws. They sign them into law. They draft unconstitutional laws. They get lobbied by foreign countries. They're bought and paid for. They don't follow the Constitution. Anyone who knows the Constitution a little bit cannot find a politician that follows the Constitution. Or
Not
a
what
cop,
I was
for that
getting
matter.
at.
Or a cop.
That's absolutely not what I was trying to get at. My point is, you're not presenting a system that is going to get us to elect these so-called constitutional representatives, or whatever you call them. Like we already do that basically with elections now. Like the system's there. People just make bad choices, and they're still going to make bad choices in your system too, because everybody can lie.
Right. That's the system. Stop voting those people in. Know what they stand for. Do a little bit of research.
I'm with you on that, but you're not gonna make like a systemic change that's gonna force that.
You
it's
can't
not
force
gonna happen.
anything. That's the whole point of freedom, is not to be forced. That's my whole argument, is to stop using force against the American people. That's what they do now.
Right. So I have a question in regard to anybody who actually believes that any of these politicians, including Ron Paul, John, including him, if they actually do honor their oath, like you're saying, in certain instances, then why does Terry versus Ohio stop and frisk policies, procedures, and protocols still get applied by every single politician, every single mayor, every single governor that's still in force?
Because it's not a law, and they didn't have. It wasn't a drawn up as a law. It was never a law. No one ever got to vote on it a law. It was a who was it?
Circuit case.
Supreme Court decision.
Fitzgerald versus Farland, or Fitzgerald
No, it's
versus
Terry
Marlowe
versus
versus
Ohio.
Fitzgerald. It's a court decision. It's not law at all. It's invalid and unconstitutional. Well,
Yes,
we know
Madison
that.
versus Marbury.
Again, yes, exactly. So we know that. So we need to keep this up. Death by 1,000 cuts. And what we know, now we can tell other people, and they go, "Did you know? Did you
John,
know
what
that?"
do you think of
And that's how it's going to work incrementally.
Right.
I mean, why have lawmakers or even lawyers or civil? I think you said civil lawyers or something to that
Civil rights
degree.
lawyers.
Why have they not jumped in and like pushed this like in a legal perspective, in a lobbyist perspective, in a legislative perspective? Why are we not pushing for that for those people in those positions?
It's a
Civil
slow
probably get
process,
killed.
and you need standing.
Civil rights lawyers barely make any money. There's way more money in employment. If you Google civil rights lawyer, thousands of them will come up. You know how many of them actually are lawyers for the Bill of Rights? 3, 1, if you're lucky. It's a lot of work. It doesn't pay well, and they're literally going against the system. So they get retaliated against. They have to look at that judge every day. They have to work with this police force all the time. So they going along to get along just like the other people, because
They don't want to lose that bar card.
Lawyer, and now all of a sudden they're going to go into court and go, oh my God, the judge, the prosecutor, no one's following the Constitution. What am I going to do? Risk my whole career? Or am I going to go along to get along after spending money and time in law school? They're trapped, just like cops are trapped. They're in there for 10, 13 years. They see something insane go down. Now they go, do I throw my whole career away, my pension, these 13 years I have invested, find a new place for my kids to live, or do I just stay on this blue line? And they're
careers
trapped.
Yeah, career suicide where people find themselves in bad positions, but they've got to keep that paycheck.
But wouldn't that kind of roll over to the same concept of the average American? Like, oh my God, if I go against the grain, I could get arrested. I could do this. So complacency, compliance is safety in terms of a pseudo safety.
Temporary.
I mean, the government has built it in that way to where it's like, if you want to go against the grain, go ahead, fuck around and find out and see what happens. And next thing you know, you're somewhere where you don't want to be. Iotin sending the big 10 just to kick off our next dono goal. Thank you so kindly, Iotin, for the tomatoes. Keep the show rolling. You have 1 hour to hit that dono goal, or I'm fucking going to bed. So what? I mean,
Can I add my
I'm
2
sorry.
cents in a minute?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Sarah. I just had hopped on. I hadn't had a chance to speak. I just wanted to say whenever I'm able to, just let me know.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. As far as attorneys getting involved in the aspects that you guys are discussing on the panel now, there was a gentleman, a lawyer in the South named Tommy Cryer, who his friend had come to him and told him that the income tax was illegal and he wasn't going to pay it anymore. So Tommy, being his buddy and a lawyer, decided to look into it. And what transpired led Tommy, the lawyer, to stop paying his taxes as well. Now, the IRS caught up with Tommy. They took him to court, and Tommy whooped their ass. Now, he whooped their ass in the criminal charges, and he had passed away before it got to the civil trial to find out if he was going to have to, pay any of this money back. But he did beat the criminal charges, and the defense that he used to beat the criminal charges was pretty simple, right? So let's take a business, for example, Walmart, okay? So Walmart gets taxed on its profit or gain, like John said. We get taxed on 100% of our money, okay? If you look at the income or the IRS definition of income, it states every dollar that comes into your pocket is considered income. We don't get the tax benefits that a business like Walmart would get. But if you think about it, and this is how Tommy framed it to the jury, when you get up in the morning, before you go to work to make this quote unquote profit, you have to feed yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And before you go out the door to get in your car, you got to clothe yourself, right? Then you got to get in your car, which you pay gas and you pay, oil and maintenance and all this stuff before you get to work, right?
Nope.
Before you are in this quote unquote profit. And what he told the jury, and what I'm sure we'll all agree is that when we get to the end of the month, there is no profit, right? Everything is gone to sustain our life pretty much.
That's interesting.
So, the cost of food, the cost of our education, right? In order to do this job where we get this quote unquote profit, supposedly, we put so much money into just getting to work to make it, and we don't get that tax write-off, right? Americans don't get that tax write-off. 100% of what we make, we're taxed on. And Tommy won using that defense. And it's absolutely 100% true because, and here's the kicker and how I'll make sure that to prove John was right. Words that are in the Constitution can only be defined by the Supreme Court. Everyone is free to Google this. The Supreme Court's definition of the word income, as decided in the 1909 case, is income is profit or gain derived from labor or capital. Okay? They expanded that in a case in 1913 to include, I believe, like stock trades or future trades or something to do with the financial markets. But the core, labor or capital, means this: capital when you invest. So if you put $10 in and you make another $10, you are taxed on whatever you didn't put in. That's capital. The labor part is if you own, let's say, a landscaping business and you have 10 gentlemen working for you and you charge the client $20 per worker. You give them 10 and $10 is your profit. You get taxed on that. You don't get taxed on your own labor because your own labor is an equal exchange, right? That's the contract you make. The money you are paying me goes to my food, my clothing, my education, my experience. It's an even trade. There's no profit there. I am not making no profit. This is an even trade. My experience, my labor, my clothing, my car, my kids' tuition. I'm trading all of that for that dollar. There's no profit there.
That makes sense. Actually, I like the way you explain that. So what about like interest? If I collect or dividends, I'm sorry, if I collect dividends on the savings account, that would be gains, correct?
Yeah.
So when your money's working
Absolutely.
for you, that would be considered the gain. But if I'm working for the money, that is just
It's
even
an even
trade.
exchange.
Just the same as if I were to sell you this mug right now for $3. Now I understand sales tax, but if I were to sell you this mug for $3, you give me the $3. Like that's just a fair trade, like
Speaking of
bargain.
mugs,
Did you pay for the mug?
I don't know.
You paid $5 and you sold it for $3. You actually took a loss.
I took a loss. Okay.
If you bought it for $3, you sell it for $3. It's even. If you bought it for $2, you sell it for $3. You get paid tax 7.65, 0.45, blah 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 FICA on that $1.
I have these awesome mugs that I'm selling now for only 25.
Only
Link.
25.
Link.
And speaking of taxes, the tomato tax is coming in compliments of old Sarge Finkel. Says goal? No. We don't need no stinking goal. This is an income for some, a loss for others, and a goal for everyone. Then he asks, what is the tax on this? Oh my goodness, we're getting deep on the dono goals with taxes and incomes. We are halfway there, chat. Help a brother out. Are you guys just going to let old Sarge Finkel take care of this goal all by his thinking self? And he says, don't make me turn this show around. Pops has spoken. Chat, speak up. Don't let him steal the show.
Don't forget about the YouTube tax.
It's 30%.
I know.
If you haven't yet purchased your favorite mug, and it is available now over on the Powder Dusty side, the Cuckable mug.
Awesome.
Thank you so kindly for the kind reminder. And I think the link is probably over there on your end.
It is. Somebody in the chat was saying that I was out here robbing people or something to that extent, but they didn't understand what kind of mug we were talking about here.
But bargain, right? There's a bargain in trade and like merchants. So we pay a sales tax on that, but that doesn't negate the like $3 for a $3 mug, right? It doesn't negate the cost of any of that. Now, if there's a gain, that's different. But even at that, that's sales tax. But
it's just a whole separate.
It is separate, right?
Yeah.
It is separate, but it still doesn't negate the value of the mug versus the value of the $3 that you gave me. Just the same as the value of my work and the value that I'm being paid for that. That's how I'm looking at it. Like the work I'm providing is a value. Not necessarily a gain.
Profits and gains are taxable. Everything else, pretty much no. Property taxes are garbage. Sales tax, is that an indirect? I guess sales tax is an indirect tax. So
I think it's indirect. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't want to pay as much sales tax, you buy less things. But
yeah, your property taxes are fraud on the basis that you actually have to have a business in operation in order to be taxed. If you're using it, like he said earlier, as a means of living, and there is no profit, then they're not supposed to be profiting off of your property by taxing it.
Right. So let me say something about property taxes, because Ron DeSantis is claiming that he wants to get rid of property taxes in Florida. And again, just like the income tax, anybody, if you put that up for a vote, everyone's going to vote. 99%, except for Duck, is going to vote. No, I'm not. I shouldn't pay taxes on my home, because when you pay taxes on your house, when you finally pay off the greedy ass bankers, when you pay them 4 times what your house is worth, and now you get to own your house. Now all you have to do is pay a yearly rent to the government.
Right.
That's so unconstitutional. It's so unconstitutional on its face. It's literally robbery. And so DeSantis is claiming that he wants to get rid of property tax. So instead of just putting a bill out there that says, hey, Floridians, you want to get rid of property tax? Yes or no? They split it up into 13 different fucking things so that it's impossible to get a majority vote. So they just play fucking games constantly. If they were legitimate and they gave a fuck and he was being serious, it would say Florida property tax, yes or no. Instead, they split it up into 13 different things with all different explanations. And if you vote for this one, then this much tax will be put on this yard if it's a certain square footage. And they just muck everything up, muddy everything up to the point where we can't do anything. And those are the fucking politicians we need to get out of office.
I have some questions on property tax, but first let me do a quick grift break. Finkel says, damn, they leaving me hanging, but don't worry. Ben sends the Big Ten to help with the goal, says, okay, Mr. Finkel. And then Finkel says, one shy, we are now depending on Brick to keep the show going.
Brick, come on,
oh my
bro.
God, Brick, where you at on this? But Brick failed, so Finkel sends the big
Whoa!
one. Yeah, my big
Good.
favorite
Awesome.
color. My most
Awesome.
favorite color to put on
David
the
Finkel, that's
screen.
awesome. Thanks.
We love the red. Tomatoes in the fucking chat for Old Sarge
Here's an
Finkel,
award here.
long
Take an
time
award.
fan,
Give an award.
listener, and friend. We love you so kindly, and thank you so much. You have saved not only my patience, but you've saved the panel as
David
well
Finkel.
from me just shutting this bitch down and going
Thank
home.
you, David.
So question on property tax. So what does property tax go to in general? Where does that go to?
They claim
Is
it goes to the
Police,
roads and
schools.
schools and the police department, but
Municipality.
So the state, right? It goes to the state.
No, it doesn't go to the state. It goes to the municipalities and the county.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and a lot of it goes to the overtimes.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So with that being said, I mean, like I look at it as utilitarian with a lowercase u, like your firefighters, your
Yes.
roads, your snow removal or
NGOs.
systems.
Okay.
Things
So
of
it's a
that
good
nature.
tax.
So what my thought process is like, why do I have to pay this amount based on the percentage of land that I own, right? I'm not utilizing those services any more than anybody else is to that degree, right? For instance, if I have a townhouse in less than a half acre of land, there's not much of a difference between me versus the guy down the street that has 10 acres of land in terms of our usability of those features, correct?
And then they have a tax assessor where they assess your land and determine your value, right? And then they take a percentage of that value and they tax you based on that. You can have the same house as somebody else just in a different neighborhood and have a huge tax difference. So I actually have a 3-bedroom house with 1 bedroom with a 1 bathroom, and I'm taxed $7,000 versus $2,000 in the same town, just in 2 different neighborhoods. So I'm taxed $7,000 on one house and $2,000 on another, but it's based on the assessment of the value itself. But they're pretty much the same size house.
Yeah,
and
but
pretty much the same size
desirability,
land.
availability, the location. You're talking about real estate, so it's always going to be the people with money are going to dictate the price.
Right.
Right. And
So
again,
if-
it comes down to the use of the property first and foremost. It's got to be commercial. If it's not commercial, there shouldn't be any tax.
That's true.
So this is where I get annoyed. It's unconstitutional. They shouldn't do it. But now we're arguing about, well, they do it. So let's argue about size and square footage and where it goes. No. Don't do it.
Where's it unconstitutional?
Yeah. Use money The bottom line is
Where is it unconstitutional?
Where's what on?
Property isn't an investment. You're using it for your livelihood. It's not
When,
an
when
investment.
someone points a gun at
If
you,
you're using it for livelihood, then it's definitely an investment. It's part of your business.
points a gun at you and
No,
takes
if
your
you're-
money from you, it's not legal.
I think it's only business when, like, I have a rental property. That would be a business.
Yeah,
Right.
You're
If
making
you're
gains.
using it to raise, if you're using it to raise your family, it is definitely not a business.
Right.
But if you sell
Well-
the property, it has more value when you sell it than when you buy.
Yeah,
it.
so you tax
Oh,
on
and
the
then you're
on the
taxed
pro-
on the capital
the
gains.
sale.
Your gains.
right, but
But
not
you-
the property.
You
itself.
understand that that's what
You're
they're
taxed on
basing
the
the
business
taxes off
transaction.
of.
You're taxed on the business transaction, not the property itself.
But anyways, I'd like to see you show me where it has to be a business to tax property.
Taxes in general are a commercial thing. It's a commercial thing.
Absolutely.
So
And taxes are only governed by municipalities, not the state.
the state has.
Hold on, Major Lee, are you talking? It's coming through like you're underwater again. Maybe try to jump back out
No.
and back in again.
My property taxes
Okay.
are paid to the county, not my city.
So, but how do we solve the problem, right? In terms of
Thank you.
schools, EMS, roads, so on and so forth. How do we still pay for those things while also getting rid of property? Because I don't like the idea of paying property tax on something that's already mine. I've already bought and paid for the house. Why am I paying the state more money for me to just have this thing that I already own?
So it's like I said
never own
before.
it.
Okay,
That's
go
the
ahead,
whole
John.
point. That's the whole point. Is property ownership is something they want to abolish because that's a Constitution American thing, and they hate the fact that individuals have the freedom to own property. So how do they get around that? Oh, this little tax, just like your money. It's all about control you. So the solution is, because you want police and you want roads and you want this stuff, collect constitutional taxes and work within that budget. That's as simple as it gets. That's all there is to it. Just like you earn a living, you bring $1,000 home a month, you have to live within that $1,000. Simple as that.
Yeah.
And we're printing extra. You know you shouldn't use credit cards because all it does is turn your household into what our government has become, a cesspool of debt and bullshit.
So I also think that we need to downsize government to downsize the spending that we're putting out, right? So the money's supposed to be going towards our schools. I'm okay with that. You know, kids got to go to school. I mean, they say that our money goes to the roads, but I mean, a lot of the times you're getting a grant from the state, which is coming out of your paycheck. In New Jersey, I know Florida doesn't have income tax in the state, right? Is that true? Yeah, so I have New Jersey state income tax, and then there's federal income tax, so I'm paying two taxes.
City where you live
in New Jersey, yeah.
But
Usually you can deduct your state income tax from your federal taxes, but go on.
Say that again.
Usually you can deduct your state income tax from your federal tax return.
Not in New Jersey. Not in New Jersey. They're filed separate, and you never know what you're going to get.
Same with Iowa.
And so they say that your money's going to all these things, but then they're trying to build new buildings. They're buying things that they don't need. They're buying new police cars. They're getting new fire trucks. Or some of the things are legitimate and some things are not. So what I can say to you guys is, if you guys don't want the spending, go to your council meetings, make your voice heard. You know, that's really all I can say. They have budgets. They go over budget. They have bids. There are contractors out there that get these contracts and bid jobs that are for buildings to be built and stuff. They know that they're going to get a change order. A change order means that they're just going to keep adding on money on top of what they've already bid, because something needs to change, whether it's a design or whatever it is. But they know they're going to get all this extra money.
No, and Paulie sends the big 5 to say, here in Orange County, California, they'll assess you even if you live on a boat.
Wow, that's
Mhm.
crazy.
That is, I know there's also personal property tax where you could get some states do it for taxes on vehicles, things like that you pay annually, and I think that's kind of silly too, because it's like I already bought the car. That's
Yeah.
that's like if I go to a store and I buy a shirt and then the state sends me a bill for it every year, like, hey, pay another $3 every year for this T-shirt that you own. It kind of seems silly.
That's new scum for you.
But for the oh my god, property tax and the between that and the budget of the county or the city, whichever one it's going to be, do you think that they're raising or assessing people's property taxes higher to accommodate their budgets instead?
I do think that they're doing that. If you notice, I mean, every 3 years where I'm at, they reassess. And I could say maybe in the 10 years that I've owned a house, that it stayed the same once. So every time my tax assessment goes up, every 3 years, it just keeps going up and it keeps going up and it keeps going up. But it's the same thing. Like, I'm not making more, but all the taxes just seem to be going up. You know what I mean? You're taxed on everything. The gas that you pour in your car, that is taxed. That goes to your roads. So in the gas, you're paying tax on the gas. You know, it's just like you're just continuously being taxed. It's insane.
If I could
And
hop
just
in.
just as a kind reminder, backstage I've got Sasquatch, Duck, Obstacles, and 10th Man all waiting to come up. Obstacles, I feel like you're gonna have some opposition here. Shake your head, yes or no, if you're.
Please.
All right,
well,
guys, I'm gonna get out of
gotta-
here because I
Okay.
gotta go to work at 6 a.m. But it was
Oh,
nice
fair enough.
being in the chat. Take it easy, all right?
Thank you,
All right,
Garden
rest
State.
well.
We'd love to have you back for some more.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I've only got
Yeah.
a couple of minutes.
I'm
Can
gonna
you guys
skip-
hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I've only got a couple of minutes. I wanted to toss in my 2 cents on the property tax. Most of you will probably know that there's a clause in the U.S. Constitution that says no private property shall be taken without just compensation. We also know that the Supreme Court has defined just compensation to mean fair market value. So I'm going to tell you some stuff, but this is something that you're going to have to wrap your head around. How does the government take people's property, $200,000 piece of property for $5, $10, $20,000 in back taxes, if the Constitution says no private property shall not be taken without just compensation? Here's the answer. There is no private property. We don't own private property. In title law, when we register our title with the county, it becomes a split title. We get what's known as a equitable title. The state county gets what's known as the legal title. We get the use, the possession. Yep, we get the use, the possession, and if we sell the item, we get over and above whatever we owe for the item. The state gets to make the rules for the item. This works with our houses and our cars. That's how they regulate us. They don't regulate us per se, the person, they regulate the item. Now, back in the day, before people paid taxes, it was called a allodial title, right? The land was given to you through a grant or a patent, and this is all able to be documented. So what would happen is the government would give you this property free and clear, and you owned everything below the ground, mineral rights, all of that, all the way up into the heavens, right? And that was a allodial title. You owned your property. No one could tax you. No one could do any of that stuff to you. But once
That's when
Americans
they had
started
deeds, right?
registering, well, they were called,
Land
allodial title, right? And so you were given this piece of property and you were like your own king over it. But obviously the government stopped doing that. They started this registration process, and now there's very little to any allodial land left in the United States. But again, this is something that you can all look up. And so when you go to your like tax and planning commission, the people that zone, cities or whatever, you can ask them, is there any private property that is zoned private property? And it's not. It's all residential, agriculture, business, commercial. There's no private property zoning, right? Because none of it's private property. That's how they could take your property for $20,000 in back taxes and sell it at an auction. Now, supposedly, whatever they get above what they owe at the auction, they're supposed to give back to the homeowner. I want you to take time this week and look up your own locality and see how true that is. Okay. Because there was a case that just went up to the Michigan Supreme Court, I believe it was last year or 2 years ago, where they sold a man's property and they were fighting to keep every last dime of that sale and not give him anything. Okay. And that was a case up in Michigan. But look in your own locale and you'll be surprised what the percentage of people that actually get money back from the sale of their house after it's sold for back taxes is. This is something not a lot of people realize. But yeah, as far as property taxes go, they're horrible. I don't believe, some people say, oh, they pay for schools. I don't want them to pay to indoctrinate my neighbor's kids, right? I don't want them to pay for the school to, turn out robots that just lick the boot and don't ask questions, That's how we got to where we are. That's why when you ask anybody if they've ever seen the law that says you need a social security card to work in the United States, they'll tell you no. Because what happened? When we were 16 years old, our parents told us we needed a social security card and our parents wouldn't lie to us. And we went to that first job and the person at the job hiring us said we needed a social security card and we didn't ask to see the law. None of us have ever asked to see the law. Why don't you go look for that law? Look for the law that says you need a social security card to work in the United States and tell me when you find it. I'm online, Rogue Nation Audits. I got my email. Feel free to email me with that law.
It's right next
I'm out of here, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Major Lee.
Yeah.
We appreciate love to have you back
Right
another
next
time
to the
as
income
well.
tax bill.
And
Yeah,
pardon me for
definitely.
just a moment. Mama is tapping into her $100 reserves from Mr. Jason to utilize 10 of it to boot El Piro to the backstage so that she could bring up her friend Sasquatch. I'm just going to send you to the back, El Piro. Hang tight back there. Sasquatch, you've made it. And it actually,
Yay.
now another spot is open.
Who's wearing their background better, Sasquatch or Obstacles?
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
Obstacles is muted. Has been the whole time.
As soon as I turned 18, I went to the Social Security Administration and told them I wanted
Shout
to
out to-
opt out of Social Security. And they brought some guy came and he brought me to the back of the Social Security Administration, sat me down in the office, and he goes, "You're not allowed to do that." I go, "Yes, I am. I'm allowed to withdraw from Social Security." I go, "It goes against my religion." As a matter of fact, I signed up for this. It's called Universal Life Church over in California. A lot of people do this to. So I'm ordained. So I went in and said it's against my religion. He's like, "You're not allowed to do that." So, like Rogue said, most people don't. But when I was 18, I was looking stuff up like this. Like, why do I have to have public insurance? Why do I have to? Most Americans just go along and get along. So that's what I want to say about that.
So with the, I had a thought with the property tax. I mean, are there any counties or cities or some out in the middle of nowhere something where you're not paying property tax? They're not applying all of this stuff, or is it literally everywhere?
As far as I know,
Ubiquitous.
As far as I know, it's everywhere.
What was that property tax you said, Sarah?
Yeah.
Shout out to that. I think they don't have property tax in a place like where Native Americans are. I just looked at Arizona. They kind of get to escape out of that. Mormons also, they kind of set up a trust, and it's a charitable trust and a religious trust. So they underneath that, so they don't do it. And even the Native Americans, they might pay some form of some tithes to the tribal, whoever's in charge.
Sovereign,
So they're sovereign. So I don't really, have nothing against John. I mean, he could create whatever he wants. He's an American citizen. And so I think him trying to get other people to do the same, as long as those people agree, but it's going to be an uphill battle. But I never, throw rocks at a man on a mission, because at the end of the day, he's not trying to say he's trying to do something to hurt people.
Nope.
He's just saying, hey, man, there's a better way to do what we currently do, which is, again, it's a hard thing. I'm not going to the extent to incriminate everybody who's with, taxing and all that. They're crooks. I think it's probably split somewhere. I don't know what the percentage is, but I do believe there's probably a better way to do it. And if John's putting forth the opportunity for that, then we can have the discussion. be hard to agree. You know, John, people are not going to agree with you. People are going to come up with reasons to protect the current
Story of
system.
my life.
But of course, yeah, that's the story of your battle. I don't have to preach to you about that. So keep the fight and keep moving forward.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's trying to do something net
Hey,
positive.
John, can I ask you a question, boss? Before you
please.
go.
Yes, please.
All right. My question is, so since let's say we're already playing by their rules, with the taxes and everything.
Mhm.
So do you think the president or whoever's in power could mandate that the IRS, government employees and all these non-tax entities like the Federal Reserve all get, since they're doing business in the US, get taxed on their income? Do you think that would help us get out of debt? Let's say, since we bring in about 530 billion a month in taxes, every year, like, we're bringing that in a month. We could redistribute some of these funds right here and take about $1 trillion, put it back into the Federal Reserve so it can rebound the fiat currency. It'll bring down, I have a whole plan over here, but, I'm working on it. I want to present it. But do you think if, does the president have the power to mandate this kind of taxation?
No. None of them have that power. It's an unconstitutional system to begin with.
I mean, by their rules, though, because we're already playing by them.
Even by their rules, the ones that are written down, there is no income tax law. They're not following their own rules. That's the whole problem.
That's what I'm saying. If we mandate that they have to by doing business here,
They have to obey their own constitution. We have our country back tomorrow. Well, we'd have our country back tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So it will work. Okay. Cool. Awesome.
What about like the interest penalties you pay if you don't pay your taxes in time?
You mean the made up?
All the back taxes they'll have to pay.
I mean, I always thought it was a little tarded on the end of like, if I pay you too much, you pay me exactly what I paid you too much back, but you don't pay interest to me. But if I pay you too little, and then when we balance the sheets and it turns out I owe you X amount more, then you charge me money for it. And I always thought that was the most ass backwards.
Exactly.
thing.
And if we apply that logic to them, they'll actually be paying back to us because we are the American citizens. So all we have to do is say, hey, as the people, you pay your fair share and everything will be fine.
I think also maybe, and of course this might just go in a different direction, John. So I think both can be done, what I'm about to say, at the same time. But I think if you look at countries like UAE, and I'm not saying we can just copy and paste, but a reason why they don't tax their citizens a lot is because the government actually makes money off of other assets, meaning like oil, right?
Yes,
so
exactly.
To probably disrupt the system is to give them another leech to leech off of. And so if you give the government a portion of maybe commerce and other things that kind of, I think somebody said on the panel, taxing things that actually make money and produce actual value, then possibly you can get them off the other people who are just producing value by being workers. And so it's kind of like a wealth fund. Countries have wealth funds. They're invested in markets across the world. So they're able not to try to gouge their citizens for income tax in order to increase their revenue, in order to build out roads and then, pay for condoms and rubbers in Africa. And so net, maybe that could be at the same time something else.
If this country was run on the constitutional system and free markets without any crony capitalism and corruption, we would have $100 trillion surplus. The amount of money we blow on armaments and missiles and airplanes to go fight other countries' wars, because there's no reason for us to be over there, man. And especially not for fucking decades.
Not to mention what goes missing.
Have you seen Nayland Palin? Have you seen Nayland Palin? I think the lady's name is Lisa something or another.
No, sir.
Nayland. It was an adult an XXX film about Sarah Palin, but she used to pay the citizens of Alaska a check every year.
Did you say I'd watch that?
Yeah, I'd watch that. I've watched worse than that, so.
Yeah,
Sarah Palin is a handsome woman.
Chuck, was that your attempt at humor, my man?
True.
I don't have a sense of humor.
I don't know. Your humor was thrown off.
Bro, I would have never guessed that about you.
It isn't mine.
No.
So
yeah,
it's really frustrating to hear that we have solutions, but we have to like fight a big fight for the solutions that we're already technically granted the rights to. I think that's where my brain is really frying, huh?
No, I was saying, Sarah, like you always got to fight for it. So unless you believe in Disney World, where just because you believe something or it's your right, you're supposed to be getting it. Now you got to go fight for it. That's the world. That's
I guess
always
what
been
I'm
history
saying
at this point.
is people
I
have
get what you're
already
saying, though.
fought for that, and they've already implanted that into our system, but somewhere along the way it got perverted and moved around, and
Yeah.
now it's like we lost our abilities because I don't know, so now it's
Because
like
you were
it's
slipping.
there. We have the rights to do and say these things in order to make these processes and taxes and whatever go away. But yet at the same time, we're not able to implement it because we're like stuck in this weird
Brainwashed.
system.
We're dependent on the dollar system, and
Our youth is
we're
brainwashed.
still a minority, man. We
I
are
mean,
a
we're dependent on the dollar system. That's what the world economy runs on. So even if we all agree that we can get off the dollar, right? If we undo the brainwashing, you can't really get off the dollar without collapsing the global infrastructure.
Well, let's keep the dollar. All I'm saying is, all these 18-year-olds out there, they're brainwashed. If we actually had the stability of the home, and that's one thing we're lacking right now, stability of the home, because everything starts at home. How can a man try to run a city and a nation if he can't even get his own house in order? That's kind of wild, right?
But when they take the underlying currency away from, like you were talking about earlier, John, where you could buy a dollar would buy 17 loaves of bread in 1913. Today you can't get a half a loaf of bread for a fucking dollar. So when you look at what they've done to the dollar, and then you tell the man to still go out and break his ass, and then you wonder why at 45 or 50, all these guys are walking around with back pain, blue collar workers, and they don't want to give them insurance anymore. And they're saying, fuck you. And they just wear them down and take their shit away from them. It's not a fair system. It's corruption personified. And the fiat currency is just fractional reserve fucking right, along with the other fucking they give you by taxing you on the fucking.
What do you propose?
For sure.
What to separate the difference or make it more even?
Stop the bankers from banking on us.
Have any of y'all ever watched the Culpeper Cattle Company?
You got
does
a
that
point
mean,
there,
dude?
Scott. You got a really good point there. I would say if everyone was paying cash at hand for everything, even if you're using a debit card, right? But cash in aspect and not tapping into these credit cards, that one piece right there will shut down all of those financial institutions.
What did
and
Kennedy
stop
try
feeding
to
them
do?
all of that
No.
dumb shit.
That's what Kennedy tried to do.
But you see how
I
that
don't
worked
think
out
people
for
make
him.
enough money.
And then you see what people did after. So I always got to say this, and I'm probably going to be contrarian at this point. But yeah, people say that. But when they skitty pop your leader, what did y'all do? Go watch Netflix and go chill. Of course, Netflix wasn't around back then.
Greenbacks are the same
Once
thing.
he got
Lincoln.
skitty pop, y'all didn't do anything. So
I just
again,
want to say,
I could always
but that's
fold
that's
you
because
you
Hold
always. I
Go
can
ahead.
always fold
Talking
you
about when Trump
because you
Trump-
always
Trump-
let your leaders get skitty pop and you will do nothing about it. So again, that's always existed in the world. You have to fight for what you want, and you're going to have to willing to put in the work.
about
Like
Trump.
John's probably been doing this for the life of him for a long time and never gave up. That's not most people. You guys will run. Once electricity cuts out, you start backstabbing John because you got sold out. I could probably pay 10 of y'all to backstab John, even if y'all was in a group. So you have to realize that, hey,
I'll do it for
if
free.
I really want something, I have to. If I really want something, I'm gonna have to fight for it. So that's the biggest thing.
But I think that's counterintuitive. I think the counterintuitive point is that if we stand up here and we blame taxes and we blame bankers, do you know what that means? That means no one, not one person actually gave a shit. Prove to me that you actually gave a shit. No one did. Not
Nobody
a
needs
single
to
person
prove
actually
that to
cared.
you.
What are you talking
How
about?
can anybody care about something they are not knowledgeable of? Like they
How
don't
can
teach us
anybody
this
care
stuff in
about
school.
whether or not
It doesn't
Duck
mean
is
anything.
convinced that they care?
Duck. Can I ask Duck something? Do you like Thomas Massey at all?
Who's Thomas Massey?
Do you follow politics at all?
You don't watch Corn?
I don't. Yeah, is he a porn star? Is he?
No,
doing
he's
porn, or
a
who is he?
senator or representative for Kentucky, I believe. You don't know him?
He's an
Kentucky?
absolute savage.
All right.
Yeah.
Just wondering. Do
Blue
you
Mountain
like any
Bible
politicians?
Belt.
Do you like any politicians?
We're talking about politics right now, or what?
I'm asking if you like any politicians, man.
Yeah, the whole time we've been talking about politics.
I don't think about it in those terms. I don't think about liking a politician. Is it in the national
So
interest?
no, you don't, because I don't like any of the
I
politicians.
really want to be your
There's
friend.
no choices.
What I'm getting down to, and I'm trying to.
AOC is not bad looking.
Layers of that.
I don't know what you're talking about, though.
I like Trey Gowdy.
I don't know why I have to look like the crazy person for asking a clarifying question. When did that get crazy in America, guys? That's
Hold
insane.
on.
That is
I don't
insane.
know, Duck.
said
I
you're
was gonna say
crazy.
I don't know if asking a question makes you the crazy person. I think that is just by default for you to
dancing.
begin with. Yeah, just saying.
You
Just
need to
saying.
eat
I'm
some
gonna
meat. Your brain is
got
starved for
moves.
protein.
Gentlemen, I'm just going to step away just for a moment to go use the ladies' room, and I'm going to make some more coffee since it sounds like we're in for a fun night. And just a big shout out to Jason, who is prepaid that El Perro to finish. He's still got a hundo in the trigger for Mama Tomato to pick out of, so he was just fulfilling for that.
Jason, woo, woo, woo.
But I'm going to step away. John is in charge. And if any of you fucking interrupt John while he's talking, or if you don't fucking listen to him, I'm going to fucking come back here. I'm going to
Go
fucking
away
boot
so we
your
can
ass.
mute me.
I'll be back. I'll be right back. Be gentle, gentlemen. Thank you.
So I wanted
Hey, John, can I ask a question?
I wanted to go down this
I wanna
road
talk
of
to Duck.
solution with John and possibly anybody else on the panel, but particularly John. I know that you're one who does actually visit city councils, and really, actually, the public comment is a great place for people to start. But particularly sitting in on these meetings, especially this past year and a half, just sitting in on these meetings, I've learned things that I would have never known. And so when it comes to learning things about what's happening in your city, in your county, in your government, and that sort of thing, would you say that it's more applicable than anything you've ever learned in school? Anything that you've researched on your own?
Going to the meetings, does that help? So your question is, by going to the meetings, what?
Is it more applicable to being able to make change where you want to see it changed? Going to those meetings, is that more applicable?
I think going to those meetings is a very important, but it's got to be more than 5-10 people, man. It's got to be. If you can fill the place up relentlessly over and over until the local citizens get what they want. There was these guys, they were called truthers, 9/11 truther. I'm one too. I guess you can call me a truther, a conspiracy theorist, a truther, a frauditor. You know, they come up with names instead of actually tackling your
Imagine my
argument.
shock.
But a bunch of truthers started going to the Pinellas County Commissioner meetings in Florida, and they went week after week after week and kept telling them to take this fluoride out of the water because fluoride's a damn neurotoxin poison that melts concrete. So finally they got rid of it. And it only took 4 or 5 guys, but they just kept going week after week after week until they got it done. 2 years later, they put fluoride back in the water. So then they started fighting again. And just recently, the governor of Florida signed a law to take fluoride out of all the water in Florida. So yeah, local, you got to be less apathetic, and at the local level is the most important place. Yes.
So what if as a private citizen, I have a political belief, or I'm concerned. I think you should be transparent and be willing to discuss this idea that brute force and numbers, and whatever else you think should be included in there is enough to pass policy. Like, I really want people to be able to focus on their own lives, be able to focus on their homestead, be able to focus on your home, be able to focus on your own private business. That's what the United States is about. Work on that cosmopolitan identity, work on your democratic values, those types of things, you know, the Jack Kennedy stuff. I'm concerned that you think it's acceptable to organize people to berate a town hall and then parade around that you secured a victory this way.
It is.
You're retarded.
It is acceptable, sir.
Don't be so honest, Flo.
Stop. Okay. You don't like that we should organize. Okay, so you don't like that we should assemble for a political reason, and you don't like.
That's not what I said. That isn't what I said.
You're saying you don't like the fact that we organize and assemble and go to the meetings and berate the politicians there, right?
Yeah. So I mean, it sounded to me like you are parading around a victory. That's what it sounds to me like. That
What
is.
victory? When and where did this happen? When did that happen?
What do you mean? Well, that's
When
okay.
did
So
I
a
parade
simple
around?
so a simple explanation would be like prior to organizing or assembling, what is the general consensus, or what is like a general belief? What's your general? A simple question is, do the people that wanted fluoride out of Florida's water have a belief about the role of the people that you're talking to? Right? Were these people seen as obstacles, or were these people seen as co-participants?
Was this guy a prisoner of war?
They were.
God,
Let me answer, guys. Let me answer. These people studied fluoride. They realized there was a neurotoxin that can eat away at cement. So they went to their politicians week after week after week and insisted and showed them the material. And finally, the politicians were like, well, if this burns acid, if this burns concrete, maybe people shouldn't drink it. So they took it out of the water. That is a victory. Yes. What's wrong with that?
So, okay. Yeah, and so that doesn't answer the, again, I don't think you have to. I just was saying, I think it would be nice if we could have transparent conversations. You know, if I said that, I think anyone who doesn't believe that fluoride is a bad lawmaker, a terrorist, an extremist, they are uneducated, they're anti-scientific, they're endangering our kids intentionally.
What is your point?
This range of things that people could say about a person would be important for someone like me to say, hey, I support John. Right? John's doing good work.
What are
John's
you
doing
against?
democracy.
What are you against? The assembling part, the way we go about it, the speech part, which part?
Like for the sixth time, it's the lie, right? I don't know why that.
What
The
lie?
fact that you won't be transparent.
What am I not being transparent about?
So what were those conversations like? If I was a lawmaker, am I allowed to say, well, look, you guys, I haven't seen the same data. I've actually seen plenty. Like I looked it up when they passed this thing. When we did it, there was a large independent research. Fluoride is actually something that people use globally to put in drinking water to make it safer and to protect people's teeth. And so I don't see a problem. You guys seem like John, the conspiracy theorist, seems like a conspiracy guy.
Do you
right? Like, is that an acceptable way for that conversation to go?
Look up if fluoride is a neurotoxin.
Wait.
Yeah, but at what level is it dangerous? How much does it take to become dangerous?
So they brought
that's a second order question.
They brought them all their research, and then the politicians now have that information. Now they can fact check it, and then they made a decision to pull it out of the water because it burns holes in concrete.
That's what happened.
Where's the lie? Where's the non-transparency there?
Water will cut concrete given enough time and pressure. What's your point?
Do you think that fluoride is a neurotoxin?
Are we so we are debating about fluoride now with like
I just want to know. I just want to walk you
we're
down.
debating about fluoride.
You tried to dismiss
there's
the
a
whole
lie.
thing.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. Let me flush this out with him. You said I lied somewhere. Where?
I said you lied. I don't think you are comfortable being transparent and honest about the character and tenor of the group, and
group?
how you perceived a democratic victory. I believe that you guys were acting based on a limited subset of knowledge, based on a personal interest, and not acting looking to protect or
Stop saying words and answer the question.
What
Where's
the fuck
the lie?
are you talking about? A
Just tell me where
misguided
the lie
attempt
is.
to protect people. I think I should be able to have that conversation with you. I just
It's-
fucking said something.
Who's stopping you?
Listen into your brain ear holes and respond to what I'm telling you. Jesus Christ. What are you doing?
You're not telling
believe in the
anyone
man.
anything.
I don't understand any of this.
Where is this lie that I'm telling?
Let me
It's
try.
okay. John, it's okay.
This man helped a grassroots effort
Let's-
alter
hey, guys,
the
guys,
local
guys,
laws
never
dealing
mind.
with their water by themselves.
He's saying I'm not being transparent about something, and I still can't. What am I not being transparent about?
He's thinking that this is your parade, I guess.
He's saying that you are contriving a narrative based around, a heroic thing that you've
Video.
done.
It's all on
And
video.
yeah, the whole thing's on video. All of it's on video, Duck. There's full transparency in the entire
Yeah.
process. It's a grassroots effort. I've been watching this guy for years.
Guys that go around videotaping everything are usually more transparent than the opposite.
They have to be. The reason cops hide from cameras, consider this. if you're proud of what you're doing, wouldn't you be proud to be depicted doing it?
Absolutely.
Then
If
why
you're
the
not
cops?
doing anything wrong, then what? Yeah, if you're not doing anything wrong, then what are you hiding? Nothing, right?
Amen, brother.
Now, guys, I'm being fair with this guy, right? He's already told me the S is D.
Duck is a special breed. He does this.
I'm actually trying to.
What did I say? I said
Understand.
suck my dick
Trying to
earlier.
understand
I forgot about that. I forgot
Come
about
on.
that. To be honest. No, listen. For me,
Apologize.
I just believe one of the things when I wake up in the morning, I think the first thing that I think is, okay, where am I? Where did I wake up? And secondly, it's what do I want to do now that this time is mine and it's completely uninterrupted? That's it.
How do you not know
And
the first answer to that
And
question?
so it feels like you're
automatically?
being disingenuous. It feels like you are. It feels like you are doing
Get out
like
of
the
your
Jesse Waters
feels.
glossing over selective listening type thing.
You got your feels on. We
Can you
know.
please give me a specific example? Because you talk very abstract.
Our entire previous conversation before I was in the back, when we were talking about, you were kept saying that there's such a thing as a constitutional tax.
Right.
You said constitutional tax is the only tax. I don't know why a constitutional tax is a thing.
Because we have a constitution.
It doesn't mean anything.
Constitution
That
doesn't
statement
mean
doesn't
anything.
Says you.
You see where we're
That
at.
statement doesn't mean anything. Okay,
This
so
is
it's
where
a
we're
give
at.
take, right?
Okay. Now we're making some sense here. So you don't believe in the Constitution?
Exactly.
Nobody
No,
said that.
no. He said a constitutional tax.
Nobody said that.
Well, you understand that
Nobody said that.
There's things that are
Nobody said that.
constitutional and there's things that are not constitutional. Is there such thing as an unconstitutional law?
Laws that are unconstitutional are unconstitutional. How does that happen? Honestly, how the fuck does that happen though?
It depends on what state you're in.
Because
That's like an easy one.
Because they passed laws and then they said if it's unconstitutional, we'll let the Supreme Court figure it
Yeah.
out years from now after somebody's injured
completely. Yeah.
repeatedly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I understand. Yeah. I
that
think
wrong?
so. No. So laws that are unconstitutional pass and then have to be reviewed by the Supreme Court, right? The
Right.
Supreme Court has
Yes.
constitutional supremacy over what the law is. Like appellate courts, even at the federal level, can't say, well, or they can say that a lower court
well,
ruling
there is
was
a such thing as
unconstitutional, but
constitutional laws.
it's sort
So
of
there
less
is
common.
a such thing as constitutional laws and unconstitutional laws, right?
But
Yes.
you're overloading. You're putting too much on this one term. Does that not make sense?
No. Is there a such thing as constitutional laws
Yes.
and unconstitutional laws?
Yes.
Okay. Thus, some laws are and some are not. They pass them. There's a such thing also called unconstitutional on its face. For instance, racing your cars is illegal. Well, in that law, they also threw in
Sure.
if you're standing and watching the race, it's also illegal and you can go to jail for it. That's unconstitutional.
But
on
that
its
makes me
face.
sad. But that, John, that makes me
That's
sad to hear that
unconstitutional on its
that
face.
is the level that
Doc.
you do this, and that is the level of granularity you bring to the table. It's
Doc,
embarrassing.
Your literal
That means nothing what you just
It was
Doc,
just an
your-
example.
Your level of retardation is probably why America does exactly what it does, and why the government
Brainwashed.
was able to
This guy was
just
being
take
serious.
I know.
over,
I
just
know.
take over literally everyone because of that, because of this right here. If anybody wants to utilize that boot in the, that's
He's not
already on the
serious.
trigger,
Look, if you
Get 'em,
want,
girl.
I'll stay with you on my channel.
and
one-on-one.
Jason.
Tolo, I do have. I see you back there, but your device is not connected, and you need to do a quick cam up before I can add you to the lineup. Okay, my apologies. It sounded like everybody. Of course, they left. It sounded like everybody was getting along just fine. Thank you so kindly. I appreciate it. I did make some coffee and took the dogs out real quick. So yeah, you run a good show, John. You did great, kid.
John
kind of
is a difficult
what kind
one.
of dogs?
They are. I
lad.
have two sisters. They're Norwegian Elkhound, Blue Heeler, German Shepherd, and Australian Shepherd. So
I have a
they're
Minneapolis.
Oh wow, big ones.
they're big girls, but they're also working girls. They're too smart for their own damn good. Even though Nyx, I call her my box of rocks. because she's just a literal box of rocks sometimes. Like she's so smart, but so fucking dumb too. It's like,
German
ugh.
Shepherd. Yes, yes.
Like how can you be this stupid? But she's like a puppy dog. They're what? They're 11 now, and but they still act like puppy dogs. It's just cute. Okay, so I know Duck was going down the fluoride route, but that's another like thought process built into there, because I feel like our government has been able to just get away with doing these things, right? Just kind of adding whatever they want to the water, doing whatever they want in our school systems, getting away with practically murder. I say that and hope that I don't get sniped tomorrow. But how have we gotten to the point where we've allotted them such the ability to just do whatever they want at this degree? I mean, I just feel like that's in the instance. They just do whatever they want. We have no say in it.
Can I make a suggestion? I think that the greatest trick that the devil ever played on man was to pretend he didn't exist.
Yep,
man
right.
believes it, so we don't follow Jesus. We don't follow what's right. We don't follow what's true. We have fake news. We have a president that can we trust him? Probably more than the last guy. Maybe more than the last guy. Maybe not. Can we trust any of them? Probably not. Isn't the point that he's a commander in chief indicate that we're under kind of a military control? Don't you understand that? And then if you look into these municipal buildings, AR 840-10 is the Army's regulation flag behind the judge. And
maritime law.
We're sitting in a game where we're under military operation. So I think it's been literally since the Act of 1871. We've literally been under wartime, a declaration of war, and they've never
really very interesting, Scott. Very interesting.
They've never
is
declared peace.
Our founding fathers also set limitations on our military, partially based on our experience with the British, but also based on just our position as like America was an island, right? Like America was, there were other colonial forces and powers. Actually, great uncle George Washington, took his first L and quit the military against the French prior to the Revolutionary War. And so my counter argument is that just like with history and stuff, I can say, well, the United States doesn't have a military dictatorship like that.
Duck, those restrictions didn't come in place until like the 1870s. It was well past the founding.
And to you, Duck, ask and ye shall receive. Jason, our kind angel from above, has sent a big 200. And he says, Sarah, I think you know what this is for. I'm pretty sure Jason is referring to my request to get Duck out of here because what the fuck. But
he's my favorite.
Duck, you have 2 minutes to plea.
Appreciate you.
You have 2 minutes to plea to the
amazing.
chat.
Now it's time.
If they can send another 200 to keep you on here, we will keep you on here. They have to match, but you can plea your case or say your goodbyes or whatever you would like to do. It is your full 2 minutes. Everyone else is going to be quiet. Thank you.
So thank you. So what you get with Duck and your big hundo, if Flo would say, don't donate some money. If El Perro is still here, that's from him, and we all believe that. So do donate to Sarah. With Duck, you get this. Life is one of two ways. Life is either miserable, or one chooses to make life miserable. And so with your buddy Duck, your pal Duck, you always get to see what just springs forth, what comes out when one makes the difficult choice, the complicated choice themselves. So I'm going to tell everybody, do something hard, even if it takes 15 seconds. One of the lies society tells us, and this is what I'll leave you with, is that you have to be like David Goggins running 200 miles to do something hard. Some people find something psychologically or slightly physically difficult in 5 seconds, and no one can tell you that's actually not true. And so, don't destroy your body. Take care of yourself. Respect yourself. See yourself as a person, and then see others as people, or the other way around. Whatever God you believe in or God I don't believe in didn't create us in such a way that we are not allowed to see others as people first. And I encourage you to go do that. And that's actually how you also get really cruel, mean, and nasty. Not this fake, petty, political bullshit Donald Trump does. Fuck that guy. Guy's a bitch.
Wow. Okay.
I agree.
Too bald
Well,
bitch.
Thank you.
That was your statement. Thank you
miss
so
you, Duck.
kindly, Duck. And
that
hang out in the chat. I know we still love you in the chat,
Thanks.
and maybe
Appreciate you.
that your angel
John.
will come
Great
through
show.
on your end.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye. All right,
Always
next I got
stuck.
and then
I'm
Altero's back
astounded.
there.
I'll
You
drive
know,
down for
Sarah-
El Perro.
Tennessee. Oh, sure.
I'll
Bye,
drive down. Let
Scott.
me say goodnight, and
Mhm.
you should sing Ducky Louse out with Now It's Time to Say Goodbye to
Mhm.
Copyrighted.
No, not Ducky Louse, is it? No, I'm sorry. I don't think that's, maybe the rest of it is. But hey, thanks for having me. John,
Absolutely.
I follow you once in a while, watch your stuff, so I'll
you, man.
probably chime in now that you know my name. We'll see
Thank
who
you,
it is.
Scott. It's nice meeting you, brother.
Absolutely. I appreciate your work, and I've learned a lot from you too. So I do appreciate your work. I thank you.
Go watch that Murder, She Wrote, man. Have a pudding cup, and we'll talk later.
Peace. Hey, thanks,
All right.
Sarah. You guys have a good one.
See you.
Thank you.
You know,
Scott.
Sarah, I was down in chat and I said, how the hell did Duck get my spot? And I'm
El
like,
perro.
whatever. And then now you've taught me a serious lesson. Never doubt the grift.
Never doubt the grift. Well, also Tennessee person backstage. I just need a quick cam up for you, and I can add you to the roster.
Tennessee transparency.
Yes.
Where did the energy? Maybe I missed it, but where did the energy come from? Trump was a bee.
But
where did that come from?
Oh,
He's got
hold
TDS.
on. Hold on.
No, somebody else said it,
Oh,
so
thank
that's
you,
fine.
Tennessee. I'll add you onto the
I
roster.
agree with that.
Yeah. Why do you
Every
think that,
president, though.
John? I'm
Huh?
just asking.
Oh,
I
what?
said,
I
why do
don't
you
like
think that? I'm just asking. Yeah,
because
yeah,
he's
yeah.
an Israel first piece of shit. Other than that, you mean? Should I
Okay.
keep going?
Well, I mean, I think that's one of your strong positions, right? So I'm pretty sure you can end
I
it
don't-
there. But if you wanna
Genocide,
go on,
ethnic
go ahead.
cleansing. That's kind of, I draw the line there. Yeah.
Where's that? That's like at Palestine or something.
Yeah. Over in
Wow.
Gaza. Absolutely.
So there was something that Duck addressed, and I just want to kind of clear it up and kind of. I feel like I'm starting to understand his position a little bit. When he was saying something about it's like petty, which it's not an understandable position. I just understand his position.
What's petty?
It's like, so essentially when we go and we find small things that they that the government agencies are violating, essentially whatever laws and rights of the people, when we're exposing those things and he and any others are looking at it going, well, that's just a little thing, why don't you want to expose something big? Well, here's the thing. We do need to expose all of it, not just the big things, but all of it. The little things matter, and sometimes the little things matter more than any others. So that's what I believe he was actually alluding to. But in any case, he's absolutely 100% wrong in my opinion. But I believe that's where he was actually.
I don't even know what he's talking about. He talks in like riddles.
He
Can
does.
I ask, where do we stand on voting, John, as far as a 1A community? Do you believe that voting actually is something that works? Is it something that
Yeah.
is it
if
is it
it's
as
done-
powerful
if
as
it's done-
that we believe it is?
If it's done properly, yes. But again, we're talking about a government we can't trust.
What's the proper way?
Huh?
What's the proper way?
The proper way is to get a secure app, and everyone gets to vote. That's eligible to vote. No mail-in shit, no nothing. Or
won't argue on the mail-in
or
stuff.
go completely old school and set up huge counting stations, and it's all done in one night, paper ballots. I'd rather do it that way, honestly. But that's going to be more time consuming. But nonetheless, the way we do it now, man,
I know. I personally feel like Florida's got it figured out.
I don't know.
Well, I feel like Florida is like the redheaded stepchild or something. Sasquatch, are you don't go, are you
No,
leaving?
I'm not leaving yet. I'm just
Okay,
raiding
Mama-
into you.
Mama has just made a request. She's hoping that someone will financially back her request for Squatch to quote his favorite quote or poem or verse or lyric. So if somebody wants to make that happen for Mama, please send the Big Ten. I think we'd all love to hear your voice. They love Mama. They love my Mama here. So with voting, right? You say it's got to be done right, but in essence, like if it's so corrupted, if it's so dysfunctional, like at what point do we get it back to where a vote actually is a vote and it counts? What does it take?
Mass organization and assembly, something we can't do as Americans anymore. That's what it's going to take. We have to come to the realization they want to suppress us, steal our money, and limit our freedom. We want the opposite. We want to be free and prosperous. That's it. We assemble. Anything that's not freedom and prosperity for us, bye-bye. But that's the key point, is we cannot assemble. If it was as easy as this, or 10 people just get on their computer, one thing, but once they have to physically get up, break their routine, their daily routine, and actually do something that's outside of that, to get lots of people together, to do that, really, really difficult to do.
All right. I think I got a solution.
Okay.
I think I got this one. So you mentioned a moment ago, Sarah, that maybe an app, something like that. I do think that might be, I think that would be a good idea. Like, we have to put it on a blockchain, so similar to the Bitcoin. So that way, we already have social security numbers, so each one will be registered, and they have to actually go into a government office or post office, and you have to register, and it has to be put into the blockchain manually. That way, it'll be secure, and you have to show your face. It's like a passport. Take a picture.
Facial recognition.
Dude, this would be great.
If you're an Uber driver, they check to make sure that you're the actual person driving the car. They could just go like this, you hold your phone up. It says, "Oh, okay, that's you." Turn to the right, to the left.
It moves them closer to their face recognition. That's what they want, anyway.
But wouldn't that wouldn't that go against the grain of even having a driver's license? Kind of what you were saying, or you didn't like the fact that the
you wouldn't
government
need a driver's license unless you were operating a vehicle, because that's your certificate. Like a doctor has to get a certificate.
Okay,
but John was kind of arguing earlier the idea that the government uses your driver's license against you and to track you and all of these other things. Wouldn't this other voting technique kind of operate under the same premise?
I'm not against an ID.
We're already constantly being tracked by our cell phones and all the apps we have anyway. And right now, even in this conversation, we're being tracked. So, I mean, we might as well just go ahead and work with what we have and get it to benefit us. And turn it against itself in a minuscule way that it makes it easier for us to survive.
So I have no problem with an ID, but the driver's license is not just an ID. That's like its last use. It's used against you 99% of the time, and then occasionally you use it to get into a bar or open a bank account or vote.
That's fair.
Verification.
It is fair.
We don't want criminals or
You are
fraud.
on the line, on the hook. Your favorite, according to Mama, Jason has financially backed Mama's request per usual. She says, Sarah, I want Squatch to quote his favorite quote or poem or verse or lyric. I gotta hear that voice. This means everyone else quiet on the set.
My favorite lyric. At first, I was afraid. I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights just thinking how you've done me wrong. I grew strong, and I learned how to get along. And now you're back from outer space. I just walked in, found you here with that sad look upon your face. Should have changed my locks, should have made you leave your key. If I'd known for just 1 second you'd be back to bother me. Now y'all try that. That's not easy to do.
Oh, and I will as long as I live, I know I will be fine. I have all my love to give. Okay, sorry.
Damn, that is a good song.
Can I ask a really quick
Good
thing,
job, bro. Good
John?
job.
Yeah,
Just 'cause
go ahead, 10th.
I haven't had a chance to talk to John for the last 6 years. So
Give it to me,
talk
puppy.
him once.
Oh yeah, catch all of that up now.
No. It's recent.
Who's talking?
So, because Joe and I were talking about this, I brought it up to Dusty a couple days ago, and so James Freeman, supposedly his lawyer, has that channel now. Southern Draw Law, is that him? I think so. Anyway, he did that thing about the qualified immunity and how they just quite simply failed to add it into the law when they transferred it over. When they
that was intentional.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah, with whatever. So my question is, do you believe that's real? And if that's the case, doesn't that mean that America has a terrorist government?
America's the terrorist government part. That's decades and decades long. As far as the thing about qualified immunity, what you're talking about is there was like 18 words that
paragraph that said that you couldn't use it as an immunity by state law, blah 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 blah. You cannot use qualified immunity as an immunity just because the law, another law somewhere else says that it's legal.
Yeah, qualified immunity. The immunity wasn't supposed to be a thing. For the whole point of America was that there's no kings with immunity.
They reversed Uno'd it.
That Civil Rights Act, I think it's called, had 18 words that actually said, doesn't matter if you're a king or a jester or a duke or whatever you are, these laws apply to you too. So when they transferred them over to the code, the books, they left that part out. And that's how qualified immunity became a thing. I think that was the Harlow versus Fitzgerald case.
How many cops do you think we're going to have if every time a police officer arrests someone, they can turn around and file a civil lawsuit against them every single time?
How about stop frivolously arresting people all the time? How about
You're not.
No. Oh, yes, they are. How about
no, they're not.
How about no? How many thousands? You're wrong. I have thousands of videos to prove it. How many cops say, "I guess you're just going to have to work that out in court"? They don't care what the law is. The police do not observe. No, the police do not observe the law. They observe what they think you should do. And if anything's outside of what they think you should do, look, what about the Texas guy? Hold on. What about the Texas guy? What about the No, you're wrong. How about the Texas guy that was? You are wrong. How about the Texas guy that was standing in the Walmart parking lot that had his dog in the car? And he explained he didn't have to show his ID, and he read 3802 to them, but they couldn't understand it because the law doesn't matter to them.
I'm not interested in specific examples of someone that broke the law or went beyond. I'm not going to argue that there are cops.
I can show you thousands of examples.
That's not the norm. That's not all of them.
Okay,
it is.
Hold on. What's the relevance? Though? That's what I want to know. What's the relevance?
The relevance. Yeah, the relevance.
We were talking about. Sorry.
The relevance is that their norm is actually a crime. They're the ones committing the crimes.
Yes, they operate outside the law. They're the sovereign citizens.
100%.
Okay, so how do the citizens hold them accountable? Do we need to create a new branch or a new citizens
they have
militia?
Qualified immunity? No. If they didn't have qualified immunity, they would be required to follow the law. Because of qualified immunity, they are not required to follow the law.
Yes,
you need to learn about
what
this.
Is qualified
I am a
immunity?
Canadian citizen. I live in Canada, and I know more about American law than you. I'm sorry.
Hold on, though. If people are breaking the law and harming others, then why are we going to hold our cops to following that law to a T without having some type of protection in order for them to do their job to stop or do what they need to do? You're putting law enforcement up against people who are breaking the law, and you're expecting them to follow all of these crazy rules in order to, oh my God, we got to make sure we follow all of these things. And I have to announce this and I have
accountability.
To do that.
Sarah, how many hundreds of auditors have been arrested for filming on sidewalks in the past 6 years?
Now that I'm not speaking to that. I'm
maybe not hundreds, but I'm just
criminals.
No, I'm saying, but what I'm trying to say here is that if they actually concentrated on criminals, no one would care.
Right.
It's when they're beating up grandmothers because they stopped, a half a foot over the stop line at a stoplight and then get into a tizzy because they don't understand what's going on because they're old. And then she goes, I don't have to show you my license, because she gets freaked out and she's just trying to get them to leave her alone. And then they beat her up on the side of the road. See, if that never, ever one time happened, nobody would be complaining, but it happens over and over. They murder people on a regular basis. And then I have to hear that they have to have immunity from murdering people on the street. This is ridiculous.
Murdering people on the
Boy, you don't know. It's man, it's so fascinating. People, it's both sides are right, but it's a complicated thing you're doing. And I think people find themselves in a lot of trouble, kind of like black people, and you guys are doing the same things, is they think that when the cop pulls you over, this is the courtroom, and it's not. It's just not the right place to start litigating and what's right and right. The cop is not there to do that. He's an enforcer.
Right.
And so usually you
No,
wait
I
until
don't
the court
agree.
proceed to go.
Okay, what's the solution? What's the solution, guys?
Hold on. Let him finish his thought, please. Go
I
ahead.
get that you don't agree. So you can go ahead and disagree and end up getting your head smashed in by the cops. People do it all day, every day in America. This is what we're talking about.
No,
At the end of the time, when you interact with an authority and a law enforcer, he's enforcing the law. He might be wrong, and you're right. But to litigate on the side of the highway, to litigate in the situation, you're not going to get far. But you can go ahead. He has the gun and you don't. That's just survival and reality of life. If you don't want to take it because you say, well, what about the Constitution?
Just lay down and comply.
But see,
lay down and comply. Take it in the
Let's send
and you
Big
just find out,
Money.
right.
So comply or
Let's
die.
send
Right?
Big Money to say
Comply or die.
until we stop the cops from placing hands on people, unless the crime committed warrants them, many will live in fear. Learn, know, and live your rights with honor. It's a duty.
So can I say to this gentleman, I can't see your name, I'm sorry, but
yeah, go ahead, John.
The battlefield is the battlefield, man. Like if a soldier, is on the battlefield, he's gonna do what it takes to survive. He doesn't stop shooting and say, "Hey guys, let's figure this out back in at the UN."
Well, hey, if you're a liberal, they say that.
Let me just say, if one person here or there, which is the case right now, they'll probably get their head smashed in. But if every American believed in the Constitution and every time they got pulled over said, "This is how you earn your living, you disgusting animal," if that was how they got treated every time they were getting pulled over, that shit would come to an end. It's because they let do that to us.
You can do that now. You're still going to get the ticket. You can totally tell the cop whatever you want. Although I guarantee you he's recording it and he's going to give it to the judge because that happened to me.
Right.
So I wouldn't recommend it.
Right.
No, actually, hold on. Can I?
Not only that,
because
it's
I want to point something out to you. I did an audit today. Okay, security tried their damnedest to force me to leave the building. I told him, "Don't touch me." Okay, I recorded this whole entire interaction. The police came. They tried to trespass me. It ended as a verbal trespass. They wanted to write me a actual written trespass. They were going to ID me. They had a guy training, a police officer training on the scene. I made sure to educate him, and it was me and Let's. By the way, it's me and Let's OTVO, the guy who just did the super chat.
Nobody's impressed.
It's not about impressing. It's about educating. Stupid. Stop being stupid.
Go ahead, finish, boss. Go ahead and finish, boss.
Yeah, so what it's about is about education. Now, I'm willing to take the arrest. The question is, are you willing to take the arrest for your rights?
No, but I'm willing to pull that halo for you there, bud.
Yeah.
Well, what about? Are you willing to
go up in the cop office, put a camera in his face, and be like, "Do you know your rights?"
That's not how it works. That's not how it works, doofus. That isn't how it works.
Are you willing to take this taser and shoot it at him?
Hold on.
Not how it works, doofus.
Clay,
okay.
I know
when
if I
you do
did
an
that,
audit,
when
you do an audit, look, when you start doing
ahead.
First Amendment protected activity, then you can have a conversation with me.
We're doing
Hey,
First
man.
Amendment
Now,
protected
Clay,
activity right now. It's called freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Y'all
Why are
gonna
you
be
trying to
laughing at
silence
me.
this man's First Amendment right, Brick?
Exactly.
Is it because he's
Y'all
black?
gonna be
What have
laughing
I
at
done
me.
to silence him?
You're gonna be laughing at me if I did that. You're gonna be
What have
laughing
I
at
done
me on
to
X.
silence you?
And then when I
We're
get
gonna audit you right now.
Look at that dumb black dude who went in the office.
Hold
was
on
like,
now.
"Hey,
I've been-
cop,
Hold on. Stop.
I'm
John,
arresting
did you?
Don't be a
you.
clown.
John, did you want to add in there?
Yeah, I want to ask. So you don't believe in the First Amendment auditing obstacles?
Oh, do I believe in it? Yeah,
Yeah.
you can do it.
Yeah.
I believe in the consequences that come from it, though.
Sure.
Because it's just the reality. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Yeah.
Yes,
Sure.
yes.
You're right about the risk,
Okay.
but you don't think people should do auditing, or they shouldn't protest during traffic stops and stuff like that?
As
It
long as you're
depends.
doing it legally.
Okay, you said protest during traffic stop.
Yeah.
I would not advise it. Now they can go protest. That's their. You can do what you want.
Obstacles. Give us an example real quick. How would you do it? You get pulled over by a cop right now. He rolls up. Hey, give me your ID.
Obstacle bends over, takes his
Hey, where
pants
you
down,
need? Hey, look.
opens his butt
Hey,
cheeks.
look. The hands. He got the skitty pop on him. Okay, hands up.
Where do you draw the
Hey,
line?
officer, what do you
Where
need?
do you draw the line?
He already
I
asked you
don't
for the
know
ID.
none. Hey,
So they can
officer,
come, so they
what
can
do
come
you
in your
need?
house. They can come in your house. They can aggress on your family. Like,
Hey,
where's the
man.
line?
Hey, look.
Generally do
What
what
you
the
need?
nice
The
guy
doors
do.
Not
open.
routine traffic stop. He
Hold
just
on,
pulled you over.
stop.
Keep
Shut
asking
the
me a
fuck
question.
up and let him fucking answer. Go ahead, Obstacles.
All right, so officer, this is the code to the doorbell. You can go ahead and look for what you want. You can do what you want. I don't condone it, but go ahead and proceed because you're going to do what you're going to do. That's it.
So,
I
like,
will fight my day in court when I got the lawyers and there ain't no gun.
No,
and
you
there
just
ain't
gave
no-
him
he just
consent.
couldn't
You
pop
already
out
lost.
He comes in
and
your
just
house.
say I was resisting her.
He comes in your
Of
house.
course,
and
if
he
I don't
starts
have nothing to
aggressing.
hide, then I'm okay.
Comes
So
in
go
your
ahead,
house.
go ahead, John.
He comes in your home. He starts aggressing on your wife and daughter. Now what? He's got the gun, right? Let him do whatever he wants.
All right, and then I get wings and I fly. When is officers in America come in and start aggressing on your daughter and your little girl?
You
Like,
need
are
a
we
It's
serious?
happened. What if her boyfriend's in her room?
You want a
Oh,
thousand?
come
I
on,
only
man. All right,
asked
all right,
about a
y'all. Hey,
routine
y'all got it.
traffic
Y'all
stop.
got it, bro.
I only asked about a
Hold
routine
on,
traffic
stop.
stop.
We've
Feeling on
already
you, R.
gone through
Kelly.
this. We've already gone through this. You're all fucking talking, so we can't hear anything you're saying. Shut the fuck up. Thank you. Go ahead, Obstacles. I think you were trying to answer something.
You're trying to eat his cereal. Leave that
No,
man
John,
alone.
you can go back. You can ask your question again because everybody else was talking. So go
I'm
ahead,
just
John.
wondering
What
if
were you
there's a
saying?
line for you.
Yes, you just don't like my line. My line is the courtroom. That's what I'm just telling you. My line is the
I'm
courtroom.
telling
It's
you.
not the officer. That's my perspective.
Anything a
Wait,
cop
hold on. If
does,
I got my right to do what I want, and you got the right to do what I want, when I say this is my line, and this is how I engage with an officer of the law, you should be like, okay, that's your right. Everybody don't want to do what you trying to do. That's
I'm
your
not asking-
angle. I ain't
I'm
telling
not-
you don't do it.
I'm not asking you to do or not do anything. I'm just wondering if there's a line for you because once someone aggresses on my wife or my child or even my dog, dude, they better watch out for the rest of their damn life looking over their shoulder. And I don't care if you're a cop or a judge,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter to me. And,
Okay,
and,
now
if,
watch
and
this.
if I have the
Okay,
ability
go
to stop a cop or anybody from aggressing on my wife that instant, I'll blow their head off.
And you'll
If you got the drop on them, right?
Well, if they're in my house, I'm going to have the drop. If
Yeah,
you're not
but
armed at
you
home,
get what I'm
sorry.
saying. You got the drop on them in that situation. You
right.
first you made that up, so I took that walk with you. I shouldn't have took that walk with you.
What?
Now the officer's feeling on my kid. This is crazy walk, but okay, we're
That
gonna go
happens
down
a
this
lot.
alley with you because you created it.
But that happens
Now-
a lot.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I was waiting for somebody to come back to reason. I know we don't like officers and a
Just
lot of
doc-
stuff that they do. I get it.
Documented
But
since
saying that a
2014.
lot of officers walk in people's houses and do some diddy with the kids. That's wild, man. That's wild.
Cops
Okay,
routinely
so-
weaponize defendants'
2014,
children.
Since 2014, documented
Go ahead.
over 400 cases of women, children, and animals, including a 1-year-old baby, that cops have done this to. And that's just what's been uncovered and exposed. So if
Okay,
it's 400,
go ahead.
if it's 400, it's probably more like 1,600, and it happens on a regular basis. I'm not saying you should fear that or something, but I'm just asking,
Yeah.
where's the line for you? Some guys, the line is if a cop pulls me over, I'm going to take him out. Other people,
400 since when?
Yeah, true.
No
So-
fucking way
Okay,
says
go
a black man is speaking about police. Listen and learn. Didn't Whitney show up at the J6 trap? It's about choosing the right battles. Don't go Waco.
There we go. And that's
Just
what
to
I'm
correct
saying.
Sarah,
choosing
that
the
was
right battles.
Whitey.
You can do whatever you
Whitey
want, bro.
showed up on Jan 6.
I watch
Oh,
you.
wow.
I watch you. I watch your video on body cam. Okay, I watch it when it come out on Twitter, and everybody else is saying, "R.I.P. John, man, he was a good dude. He stand for the Constitution," and you're gone. So your kids and all that stuff that you say you love so much, since you wanted to Crash Bandicoot, the video game in 2025, on the cops, because you're like, man, I got to do this. Then that's cool with me. What I'm saying is I'll draw the line in a different angle. I'll fight different battles. So
You
even
wait
in
till
that
they- you wait
situation,
till
if I
they
don't
do
have a
something
drop,
to your family-
that's
you wait
kind of
till
like asking a soldier, right? If I was a POW, because since I took that crazy walk with you, take this walk with me. If I'm a PAW or POW and they got the drop on me, right? And they want information, what happens to a lot of prisoners of war? They fold. so they can survive, right? They live to see another day. They're going to escape when the moment presents himself. But if they find themselves in a situation where they're outgunned, they're outpowered, they usually do what? Submit.
So if
Well, it depends on what kind of man you are, though, at that situation. But
That's
yeah, I
cool.
agree.
That's cool. Yeah, that's true too, right?
So that same situation, you are also armed. You still gonna let them do that to your family?
You have
No,
rights.
not
I
all.
think you have an echo. Yes, it is definitely you. Just be mindful. Maybe mute up while everybody else is talking. I do also have Tennessee Transparency and Major Lee still hanging backstage
6 more
as
minutes
well.
for me. 6 more minutes for me.
Fair
And I
enough.
really appreciate this,
All right.
Sarah. It's very nice of you to have me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a
Let me ask you
pleasure.
a question, John, because
Yeah,
you
go ahead.
seem like you know the I'm gonna say the Constitution and the Republic that we are a part of. So what would be like the first step for us as individuals on something easy that doesn't take too much effort?
Jury
How can we get back
Jury
to
nullification.
yeah, I'm just talking about for the layman because there's a lot of people that just they don't it's too much jargon.
Jury
So how
jury
can
nullification. If
jury
you're ever on a jury and the law, you get to judge the
jury
law,
duty?
not just the facts of the case. So if they're trying to prosecute somebody with an unconstitutional law and you're in that jury, vote no. Do not convict that person. Make case law and overturn these garbage unconstitutional laws. That's the easiest way.
Okay.
How do you determine what would be constitutional and unconstitutional with everything else wrapped into it?
So the way I do it is if there's no victim, there's no damages, there's no trespass, there's no endangerment of the public, you should be a free American and live your life. So
okay.
But
There
at
you
what
go.
point do we keep other people from impeding on our freedoms like that? I mean, I feel like there's other pieces having to be put in place to
me an
ensure that
example.
that stays still.
Give me an
right?
example.
Yeah, without something happening, we wouldn't be able to make the next law.
I mean, if you go to court and there's no plaintiff there, who'd you commit a crime against?
Exactly.
When have you ever been to court without a plaintiff?
A speeding
Exactly. That's the point we're
Plaintiff is
making.
the state, or
You
actually, in
run
that
a
case,
stop. You run a
the
stop sign. There's
municipality.
no plaintiff. They're
That's not true. It's the county or the state or whoever passed the speeding law.
oh, they're the plaintiff. So they're
Yes.
the injured party.
Yes,
So what injury did they suffer?
they're protecting the public from your
So
unsafe
no
driving
injury.
practices.
So no injury. No damages.
Because you are putting the
victim.
public at risk, you are paying a fine.
Yeah, but was anybody around at the incident, time of the
It
incident?
doesn't matter how it's
It
not
does.
that situational.
What?
Because if you're driving by a little bit fast, but nobody's near to get hurt, then who's going to hold you accountable anyway? That's the main question.
Whoever just said that the county or state is the plaintiff. So when you go over the speed limit 1 mile per hour, you go turn yourself in, right?
No,
So you don't believe in it either. So you don't believe in what you're saying either.
I'm not going to self-incriminate myself. That's stupid.
Why would you?
Exactly. Nobody's around, so nobody got hurt, bro. You agree? You agree?
Besides, I'm not talking about 1 or 2 miles, which could be an error in the speedometer, it could be an error in the reading
That's why
device.
you don't
I'm
have. That's why you don't have unconstitutional laws because now you want to get into the semantics again. Stop.
No,
the
you're the one getting the
law.
semantics.
There's no semantics.
You're the one who's gonna play off semantics.
Allow me to. Somebody has a.
I was going to say his fear doesn't
feed.
take away our rights. His fear of my 4,000.
You have rights as long
Who's
as you
talking? Who's talking?
it's the feedback.
Okay. Mama has utilized, she's tapping into her Hundo reserves. She wants to boot El Perro to the back and bring up Tennessee. And so I'm going to send you back to the back. And Tennessee, I believe, wanted to tap in to talk to John. So you're more than welcome to go ahead and tap in on that, Tennessee.
Tap me, bro.
Hey, everybody. John, I was wanting to explain the obstacles. Does he really believe that there are honest lawyers, honest DAs, honest judges? Southern Draw Law, you mentioned earlier, he just made a video saying that he's quitting practicing law because the system is corrupt, police are liars, and it's a waste of time.
I like
And then also, will you educate them on the pineal gland from the fluoride? I know you're informed about that.
The pineal gland,
Yes.
the pineapple-shaped gland in your head that gets corrupted by a neurotoxin, something like that.
Yeah.
Why didn't you come
Yeah.
out of Palooza, man? I got a pool table and everything for your ass.
3 kids,
Oh.
widowed, just
Fair
couldn't
enough.
get away.
Thank you.
And my youngest has autism, John, so you know all about that too.
My brother
So does most of this panel.
Sasquatch wants to make a quick exit with a quote as he withers away. Go ahead, Sasquatch.
Never try to teach a pig to sing. It wastes your time and annoys the pig. Y'all have a lovely evening.
Thank you, man. Thanks for
Bye,
coming.
Sasquatch.
Rest well.
I miss Duck.
And I've got Tolo and Piero and Clay
The
backstage
Duck plays
hanging.
fantasy football.
Besides the pineal gland,
Hold on just a
sorry.
second. You have rights. I don't know what mic you're using, but we cannot hear anything you're saying, and it's nothing but feedback coming through. Okay. Go ahead, whoever else.
Yeah,
was
just real quick. Fluoride doesn't have benefits to your teeth other than topically, so it makes absolutely no sense to ingest it whatsoever. This is pure science that everybody should know. And besides that, fluoride is actually a byproduct. I can't remember, from coal, I believe, or something. I can't remember what it was.
Aluminum.
But what is it?
Aluminum.
Agricultural waste.
Okay, aluminum, yeah. So, but this is the thing. The corporations that were making the product had to pay huge fees to dispose of the fluoride.
So they put it in the water.
So instead they said, you know what? If it's a really small amount, then it's actually not bad for you. So we're actually just going to sell it at a profit to all the governments, and we're going to put it in your water.
And
There's
they paid
absolutely
a
zero
true
benefit
for you.
Sorry, I was still talking. So say what you said again. I'm done now.
And they
I
paid
just
a
wanted to
bunch
say
of
that.
dentists to make a report saying it's good for you.
Yep.
Is somebody like in the fucking bathroom taking a shit or something? Tennessee, I think it's your mic. Like it's very noises coming through.
I think it's Duck.
Duck's not even here. Then we got Tolo.
All right,
like,
John, before you
moving
go.
his dresser around.
Yeah, someone yell at me, man, real quick before I go. Let's go. Someone disagree, please.
All right, yeah. I just wanted to get one more question in before you go. I know it's getting late.
Go ahead.
So let's say we get more people to go for jury duty. Is there any other ways like they can get into like community service, or you said these town halls where is it like anybody can go, or do you have to be on a list or something? How does that work?
Town hall meetings you can go, but if you go by yourself, they're just going to ignore you. You need to organize people, at least 25, and you got to be, or the
So
jury.
get like friends and family together and have your other friends do the same thing with their family, and y'all come as a group kind of
That
thing.
would be great.
Community.
That's very
Okay,
hard to
cool.
accomplish, man. If you can pull 50 people together, you've accomplished more than most people can. It's very difficult to organize people. And then run for office yourself. Run for sheriff. You don't have to have any qualifications to be a sheriff in this country. You really believe that? Like anyone can run. If you get 10,000 signatures, or you pay your way, you can be on the ballot for sheriff. You don't ever have to work in law enforcement. So sheriffs are kind of a politician, so to speak. So think about if John was the sheriff, no more victimless crimes are going to be enforced. We're actually going to, solve, there's over 100,000 plus rapes and murders that are gone unsolved, but they never stop traffic tickets, do they? They steal $20 billion a year on the side of the road from you, on top of the property taxes that pay them, on top of the court taxes, on top of everything else, and people still aren't pissed off, and people are still arguing semantics. The bottom line
People are pissed off.
They're pissed off, but we need to organize and assemble. It's very difficult to accomplish, and we'd rather fight with each other about stupidity than organize. It's not, and believe me, I've been trying too. It's not easy to organize people. Even when I was at the height of my channel, I couldn't get 20 people to show up at the same place at one time.
I know how
It's
that
not
feels.
easy to do.
Yeah, it has to be convenient. That's the thing. It has to be convenient, like Sundays or Saturdays or something.
When
Something,
government's not working.
you know. Exactly.
Yeah, but at
That's when we get together.
At least you guys get to speak at the public. In Tennessee, we have no right to speak at public meetings.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why it has to be done over chat like this. You're gonna have to do like rent out venues and do like what are they called? Like they did that Debaticon kind of situation where you guys
like
just put it
Turning
on.
Point.
You gotta do it like that. Got you.
You go to Tennessee meetings, you sit there, you listen, it's over, you leave. You're not allowed to address unless they want you to speak and call you up.
That's crazy.
Yeah, exchange social media, get a lot of those QR codes or whatever around. So like Monex and all these different links, and just have them like register themselves so that way people can get in communication with them.
All right, let me say thank you and bye.
All right, boss.
Sarah,
I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate all you guys. Sarah, thank you so much. You're beautiful,
Absolutely.
intelligent, everything I'd want. If my wife did buy a bus, I'll ask you out. I appreciate you so much for having me on. All the guys that came on, especially Duck, man, thank you. This was awesome. I really enjoy this. I wouldn't mind doing this a couple times a year if you're willing to have me. Even as not the main focal point. I don't need to be the main focal point. This was awesome. This is great. This is how you get things out in the open. And now we all learn something about each other, and especially Duck.
John,
Duck the most.
Sarah has panels like this
Oh my God!
a couple times a week.
Shut the fuck up! The guest is fucking saying their goodbyes. Shut your mouth. It's not that hard. This is a moment between the guest and the host. Shut up. Sorry, John.
Oh, no problem. So Duck, thank you. Just thank you. Thank you. That's it. I appreciate it that I'm even important enough for someone to listen to me. I really appreciate that, guys.
Yeah, we could. I mean, we could absolutely get you in on an actual debate, like a 1v1, 2v2,
Sure.
stuff like that too, where it's actual picked out opposition with a prompt and so on and so forth. So don't be shy on that. I can find the opposition easily.
You got my number too. Anytime you want.
Yep.
I'm ready.
Absolutely. I'll go on the hunt.
All right.
We'll figure something out.
Thanks, everyone.
Yes. Thank you,
Much
John.
love,
Thank you
guys.
for sharing
Love you
your
guys.
audience with us. We appreciate you.
Guys, Raging Tomato, if you don't subscribe, what's wrong with you? See you guys.
Bye-bye. Let's see. Clay, let's move you over. Oh, wait. Yep. Now we can bring up Valpiro. Okay. We do have a lot of avatars running tonight. What in the hell is going on? All you
don't have a
pussies
webcam.
afraid to show your faces? What the hell?
I don't have a webcam.
And if anybody is watching over on John's side, just for safety purposes, I don't want anybody to come up and do things that are bad that John would have to instead go forward and remove quickly, especially if he's in bed, so on and so forth. So I'm going to give you about 2 minutes. If you want to head over to, it's the Raging Tomato. If you want to come over here and continue watching, we'd love to have you hang out in the chat and have some fun. Otherwise, in 2 minutes, I will just remove his YouTube on his end so that we can keep it safe and clean. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Where were we at?
John just left.
I was about to talk trash about John when he left. Made me mad.
Oh, obstacles. This is the first time you and I kind of went at it, man. Like for real. Like
We
that's
did? Huh.
well, I mean, you don't. I guess you wouldn't do the same thing that I do. Kind of.
That's calm though. You Clay. You Superman. You got your way about it.
Yeah, but obstacles. So when I asked John, do you really? I'm serious. Do you really believe in the justice system, the court, the DAs, the attorneys? I mean, I see what point you're making, but there is no justice there.
You're not replacing anything that's any better.
I don't know about that, but go on.
Well, I mean, there is sort of a system that might be better, but I'm not complete with it yet.
Yeah.
Well, when you get it
shout
done
out to
with
Doug. I mean, John. John could fight for that, and if that day comes, then I'll be acting like John. Meaning, I would do what he would do because he created the world in which we can act like that. But as long as the environment conditions are not like that, I'm not about to move crazy like that. I know Fox News will be like, yes, we got a black man acting like
God damn it!
Ah! So that
What the hell?
yeah.
Did somebody?
Sorry about that.
I'll just take it easy.
I'm
sorry.
I'll take my fight to court.
Somebody
Man.
has to set
Get
the
Johnny
example.
Cochran, somebody. I'm gonna get Johnny Cochran, somebody. I'm gonna fight for my life. I ain't going to prison, but I'll run to
I'm gonna make
Mexico.
T-shirts, free obstacles.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna run to Mexico, drop an album. Hopefully,
Okay.
free birds.
Anyone watching over on John's end, I'm officially going to pull the plug. Thank you for joining. Whoever it has that Major Lee, I think maybe you sound like you're under a fishbowl and it's giving feedback. Whoever's watching over on John Felix's side, thank you so much for hanging with us and watching. And it was a really good time. Again, if you want to continue, we are over here on the Raging Tomato. We usually go for multiple hours per stream. So we still got some juice to squeeze out of this fine little lemon. Outside of that, thank you for watching. We'd love to have you back and have a wonderful night.